All right, hopefully everything's working. Hello and welcome to the office hours. How come he's got beers? Because he was here when we closed, Bick. Everyone who was here when we closed on Sunday got extra beers. Everyone else did not. Everything's working, I hope. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to the office hours. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the Astro Pub, and your host here at the office hours. How y'all doing? Hey, Sarkhan. Just want to make sure everything's working. Bicycle, bicycle. Joseph, I work at a school too. But I understand. You have to go to bed. Have a good night, man. Doing great. Not salty about beers since I don't drink anyway. You'll get more beers as you're hanging out here. Like, I'll do this. I don't know if this will work or not, but I'm you're resident sleeper, but I'm good away, I guess. Yeah. Awesome. Good. Just want to make sure. Looks good. Sounds good. That's good to me. And Paul, first time watching you on Twitch and also first time catching the show on the start and live. I was wondering, is it better to watch on Twitch or YouTube? It's really up to you. The reason why I do both at the same time is mostly just because I want to make sure that y'all can, you know, those of you on YouTube have some live content, and it's when I put this on YouTube, it's easier to kind of like for people to come back and watch it. Originally, it was just kind of like, hey, Twitch, I have YouTube. Hey, YouTube, I have a Twitch. Go talk to each other. But since then, like, even on YouTube, people have been like, I like to watch the playbacks. It's like, oh, okay. You like to watch 5 hours of me just talking about Star Citizen? I. Yeah, thanks. See you. And thanks for your work. Don't stay up too late. I won't. Try not to. It's only 8 p.m. here. Get to bed about 10, 11. And tomorrow's Friday, so. YouTube is better. YouTube where you can watch if you miss something. Yeah, that's true. Easily to on that work. Hey, it works. 2 a.m. here. Yeah. My voice is... Well, I hope it's going to be good for 5 hours because I like to make this official announcement because it's what I've been doing this last week, which is why there hasn't been a Galactic Historian vid out recently, is... I am currently in the process of creating a comprehensive history of the Star Citizen universe. I am making a timeline video that starts from the beginning of the Star Citizen universe to the end. Now, it'll probably be done in sections. I will definitely be doing humanity-centric first, and then when we get more information on the aliens, I'll go back to it. Hey, Buster, thanks for the raid. Then nothing exploded. Sci-fi, thank you for those bots. Oh, is that not that is Buster raid. Okay. But I saw it. How you doing, Buster? We get a follow command for Buster on Twitch. So yeah, I hate myself. That's the answer. So let me put it this way. I'm in the process of writing the first episode, which is the early explorations of humanity up until the discovery of the first jump point. And it's looking to be between 30 minutes and an hour so far. I've got about 15 pages, and the way I write each page is about 2 minutes. So right now it's between 20 and 30 minutes. And that's the one. This is the episode with the least amount of information. So if you want hours and hours of information. Eventually, I'm going to take all this information, I'm going to put it in a single video, which will probably be like 70 hours. Alone, on its own. Hey, Paul, we getting motorcycles yet? We are, just not anytime soon. So, let me show y'all what was going on in the background. Because there's some cool stuff that was added. So let's look at the roadmap roundup. Oop. Boom. All right, so here's a roundup. I'm going to kind of expand it a little bit. Couple good things. The release view. So they added salvage hull stripping to the release view. So we know that it's, like, for clarity, the salvage T0 card has been named and description has been updated to reflect this. So this is what it is, release view. And then we also have mining gadgets, ship-to-ship refueling, selling items to shops, Loreville coffee shop, and DNA texture upgrade are all locked in and good to go for Alpha 317. And we also have space station clinics. Different variations are coming in for 317 as well. Nice. So that's all important. That's all just kind of like, yay! Those people who were shitting about things getting pushed, not yet. So that's good. Though we still have to figure out where persistence lands, which is the important part. That's probably the most important thing all year. That and obviously server meshing, but server meshing can't happen without persistence. So then we have the progress tracker. So these are the things that were added into the progress tracker. Zone handling, implementing backend solutions to help designers easily define which zone an object should be spawned in, to be merged into all existing tools and workflows, with an initial focus on cinematic tools. This deliverable has been added to the editor's team schedule. Just a tool. And entity propagations plugin, improving entity property handling to easily adjust properties from multiple entries at the same time, decreasing iteration time for designers. This major update to the old way of handling the entity properties, which was pretty limited and hard to extend. Distortion propagation. Further work on damage type allowed for correct propagation into systems. This makes the location of impact much more important. As powered items closer to the impact begin to suffer more severely, this will fulfill the original vision that we had for the distortion weapons we already have in game, and those will be planned for the future. This is the one that got everyone super excited. Ropes. Ropes. Extend the simulation algorithm of ropes to support ropes interacting with pulleys and improve general stability to enable the development of new gameplay mechanics. Kinky. Let's see. Underground facilities. Adding new underground facilities to the game, traversable areas offering gameplay opportunities in corporate industrial environments. Nice. This deliverable is added to a location art concept art team schedule. So that's good. Satellites, points of interest. Populate the game universe with explorable satellite locations that serve as points of interest for players. This has been added to the location concept art team schedule. Loreville Cityscape. Rework of Loreville skyline to better fit the scale of the city and its distinctive buildings. This deliverable was added to the location concept art team schedule. Room depressurization. Creating an ability for players to increase or decrease the atmospheric pressure in defined closed room. This deliverable has been added to EUPU gameplay feature team schedule. This is something that was on the monthly report, so it's something they've already started to work on back in January. Or at least they began to work in January. It's important to remember that this was pulled probably back in the early February. All of these lists that this comes from. So a lot of this news is already 2 weeks old. So we may not get another information. When we get in 2 weeks, we'll know what was going on in mid-February. But at that point, we may already know a lot of this stuff because a lot of this stuff may be in the all that stuff may be in the monthly report because that one's a little bit more accurate and a little bit more up to date. Cave archetypes, expanding the experience of traversing caves by creating more variety and developing new challenges. The setup for the caves will also make them more efficient to use creation of future caves. Nice. And this is the 2 ones that got everyone excited, and I'm going to burst y'all's bubble. The Tumbril Ranger. Yes. Fuck yes. Yes. Oh. Building, implementing, and balancing Tumbril land systems 2-wheeled bike, the Ranger, as game-ready vehicle. This deliverable has been added to the U.S. vehicle content and vehicle experience team schedules. And then building, implementing, and balancing RSI's medical craft, the Apollo, as a game-ready vehicle. This deliverable has been added to the U.S. vehicle content team schedule. Really cool, right? Really awesome. That means they're starting to work on the Tumbril Ranger and the Apollo. Fantastic news. Now I'm going to burst y'all's bubble. Go to the roadmap real quick. Y'all gonna hate me now. Here's the Ranger, right? Okay, 2 teams. Look when it's ending. The sprint doesn't even end in December. It just stops in December. All right, let's continue on. Hold on. Let's look at the Apollo. Maybe the Apollo is going to be... They've got more stuff here, right? Apollo. Nope. Same thing. So it's still a year away. That's the answer for those. Those are a year away. Isn't that just the time allotted, though? Exactly. That's the thing. Is like that time allotted is time allotted for the end of the year. And it's important to remember that anything when the sprints end doesn't mean that they're done. It just means the sprint is ended. And they're going to continue on. They could continue on to other teams or other issues. So both of those ships are likely not coming out until at the very earliest this time next year. In like a .x patch. More than likely it's coming out in like the spring fat patch of 2023. Would the selling back of merchants include selling back ships you bought in game? I do not believe so. I believe merchants only take small items and possibly components, but I doubt that they'll be big items. This shows you how long it takes to detailed. So probably come out in 4.2, if or 3.2.1. Yeah, the BMM roadmap's not ending in September. Yeah. It's also important to remember that the Ranger is the first time they've ever built a bike. They've had hover bikes, but they've never had a motorbike. So they're gonna have to figure out how to make a motorbike and have it stand up. If we can use ropes, can we make them come out sooner? Oof, I don't think so. Do you think the BMM will be released around the holidays on purpose? Of course it is. BMM has IAE written all over that bad boy. If they can do it, they will. Though this is CIG. They have grand plans about a lot of things and things get delayed. Ropes to tie people up? We don't know. Someone mentioned something which I think is more than likely. Ropes, because it says specifically ropes and pulleys. So I assume that the rope system is not actually being developed for Star Citizen, but for Squadron. So you have a situation where Squadron 42 needs ropes for some sort of probably rope puzzles, similar to like Half-Life 2. So, yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. They'll probably reuse the Ranger frame. They'll probably not just reuse the Ranger frame, they'll take what they've learned and they'll build more bikes out of it. It's tier 0 cargo loading with us. We're loading with ropes. Now, I think we'll still be using cargo tractor beams, but I think the ropes are actually designed for squadron. But like a lot of stuff that CIG makes for squadron, they go, how can we turn this into Star Citizen content? And there's already lots of ideas that obviously you could do. You could do rope systems where you can, tie ropes to the top of your Ursa and airlift things in and out. You could use those for rappelling or fast roping from vehicles. Like the idea of having a fast rope system attached to a like a Valkyrie or a Cutlass, so you can fast rope people down to buildings or to planets without having to touch the ground. You could have climbing. One of the ideas that I thought of right away, which would be easy to implement, is some sort of either attachment to the multi-tool or a standalone kind of piton gun where you fire it and it'll go up, and you can fire it into an arc and it'll fly up, and then when it hits the ground, it'll like set an anchor point, like where it can't break. And then you can climb, you can just like interact with the rope and climb up the rope or climb down the rope. Not necessarily like actually climbing like rocks, but like climbing with the rope. Because that would be a little simpler with animations. You'd still bounce into things and stuff like that, but you'd be like shimmying up the rope. Yeah, like a back grapple. Yeah, I feel like that. But you could also use it to rappel. You could shoot it into the ground and then throw the rope over the side and then rappel down that. Don't believe, needs more handwriting. People are always like, people have commented like I can't believe talking with Paul and have his hands like 4 inches away from his face all the time. It's like, this is how I talk. Normally when I'm talking, I'm like this, but you can't see my hands when I'm talking and I'm moving them down here because I'm a hand talker. It's part of my presentation. But I know that you need to see it, so I have to kind of do this so I can move to my face. Or if your vehicle gets stuck, you can put another one out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could replace the steel guns with like effectively zipline guns and turn those into zip lines. Are we just playing Death Stranding? Yes, Silky. This is a Chris Roberts game. Of course, we're playing Package Simulator. We've already been playing Package Simulator. Okay, but when G12? We don't know. Hand talking is good for keeping attention to visual learners. It helps with a lot of people. When you talk and you gesture with your hands, it can get a lot of emotion out that your voice may not be able to get. And especially if someone isn't able to hear you as well, or if they're just kind of watching in the background and maybe like listening a little bit, if you see someone doing gestures, they'll catch their attention. They'll go, wait, what's going on? Why are they talking? What's going on over there? And, it helps. Zip lines on ships to grab big cargoes in space and blah, blah, blah. There's lots of stuff you could do with it. I mean, because effectively all you need to do once they have kind of rope physics down is how do you attach one end of the rope to a hard point and another end of the rope to a hard point. And then the easier thing to do than making like any kind of ground deformation is just the rope has a limit upon which it will take movement or stress and it'll eventually break. Jazzy. Yeah. Hands are bold font for words. Show me you can enunciate without telling me you can enunciate. Yeah. It's why all public speakers, public speakers go up to the podium and grip the podium and speak. They move their bodies and they move their hands. The best preachers in America are pointing and gesturing and moving their hands because the big, bold hand movements can help illustrate what they need to do. Dropship rappel rope. Yeah, fast roping. When would persistent hangers come out? That's a good question, Chimp. The last we heard originally was planned for 317, and obviously that got moved. Now, it wasn't moved in terms of where they don't know where it will drop yet. They may know that it's going to be in 318, but they can't tell us, or they won't tell us until 317 is out. So all they did is tell us that it was removed, waiting for other things to drop. So that'll be a question, but it'll be a question that'll be answered when 318 comes closer. With mittens or gauntlets. I can't type if I'm using mittens or gauntlets. Rope physics like Expanse Season 6? Yeah. Speaking of the Expanse, do you want to see a homeworld style game with Expanse style combat? Well, Nebulous Fleet Command. I'm going to be playing it tomorrow, twitch.tv/theastropub, with my good friend Loken Plays. We'll be playing together against the CPU and hopefully not dying a bunch, but we probably will. Nebulous Fleet Command was released recently. It's $20 early access on Steam. I've been playing around with some of the stuff, and it's got a lot of customization options. The tutorial is not exactly thrilling entertainment, but it's fun. And we're going to be streaming a little bit earlier for that than we normally do. So like I'm going to be live on Twitch at around 6 p.m. Eastern, around 5 p.m. Central, which is around 3 p.m. Pacific. And then, going from there. I'm just going to basically run home and start up the stream. I'll have everything left on by then, when I'll get up early and kind of set everything up. So yeah, we'll be starting with that and see how long we go, and then we'll go into Star Citizen. So it's called Nebulous Fleet Command. Effectively, here, let me show you the trailer.
Hey everybody, it's Party.
There you go. Here, this is what it is. So I'll show you what it means, and I'll explain a little bit afterwards. There we go. Nebulous Fleet Command. It's made by a person who's a Star Citizen backer. They actually hang out on a lot of Star Citizen channels and stuff like that. Fun story. I actually jumped in after Tree told me about this or showed it off. I jumped into their Discord, and the creator just messaged me, PM'd me on Discord, and was like, "I know your name. Do you want a copy?" I'm like, "Yes, I do. I would like a copy. Thank you." And I've seen some other content creators playing it now, which is good. So, but I'm a sucker for Expanse and Expanse style games. And this is very complex. I am not good at these sorts of games, so I'll probably mess up a lot. But the level of detail you can get into is kind of nuts. And it's almost purpose built for modding too. Like there's some lot of like obvious like sections where you could bring in like mods and stuff. You can name all of your ships individually. You can have a little moniker, like I put in pub as my moniker, as like a 3-digit or three character beginning, like, you know, USS, HMS, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I put in pub. And you can name your ships individual things and then make like little categories or call signs that you can give them so you can kind of separate them out. You can give pretty much every ship every equipment. There's some equipments that are like spinal based, so you need to have a spinal mount to be able to put them, like rail guns and big beam cannons and stuff like that. But each ship there's like corvettes, frigates, destroyers, light cruisers, heavy cruisers, and battleships. Those are the frames you can use. But they all have hard points that you have to put onto, that you have to have crew, you have to have power, you have to have equipment. Each equipment does different things. If you're out of radar range of somebody, you will not see them. But if you have a ship that's equipped with radar, they'll be able to see longer distances. But if there is a line of sight blocking, depending on the radar, you may not be able to see them. You have fleet commands where you can group up ships into fleet. You can separate them out separately and have them do their own things. Order them to attack, order them to evade, order them to go point to point. It's all in 3D space, so you have to kind of navigate in 3D. It's nuts. It's very detailed. There is damage control that you have to manage. There's ECM, so you can jam missiles as they're coming in and torpedoes to try to bank them away. It's pretty insane. Have I seen Falling Frontier? Let me check your Discord messages. I haven't seen. Oh, I did see it, but I'd have to take a look at that, what that is. Oh, I haven't had a chance to look at that. I got home from work, and it's had sign-ups and stuff like that, so. This is called Nebulous Fleet Command. It's an early access. It's $20. It sounds like they're going to have a campaign at some point. It has a lot of voiceover, so it's obvious that they put a lot of effort into this. But it's right now essentially single player. You can play single player against bots. You can play multiplayer against bots or multiplayer against each other. It's on Steam, yes. It's $19 on Steam. Nebulous. Here, this is the title. Nebulous Fleet Command. Yeah, looks like The Expanse. That's why I'm going to play it. Tomorrow, early. 6 p.m. Eastern. That's 8 p.m. No, that's much later. 11 p.m. GMT, UTC. I didn't see that. Thank you, Shimpasa, for that 20 gifted subs. We'll be playing Star Citizen afterwards. But like I asked Loken because this is like a game I'm like Loken would like this, and I know Loken well enough that we just hang out and play this and kick some ass. So. It is online. You can play online with other people. You can play against other people. You can play against bots with other players against bots. You can play one player with bots plus other players, all that sort of thing. It uses a points system, so each piece of equipment is its own worth a certain amount of points. Each hull has its own points, so you can put like point limits. And you effectively have like people have to build their own. You can build your own fleets. You can customize your own fleets. Their colors, schemes, primary and tertiary. Their names, which will show up on the hull. You can build different fleet styles. So if you want to be like, oh, I'm going to build a scout fleet, you can build a scout fleet. Or if you want to build a heavy fleet. Are you talking about Star Atlas? No. No. We're talking about this right here. Nebulous Fleet Command. It's out on Steam right now, early access. It's very basic in terms of some of the designs, but it's fine. Looks good. Yeah, thank you so much, Shemp. I'm going to give some beers out for those of you in Twitch. I have to take a look at Fallen Frontiers like an RTS version of Nebulous. I will. I'm terrible at RTS. I'm terrible at RTS in general. I'm bad RTS gamer. I am not a strategic person when it comes to that kind of stuff. I just am terrible at all of that. Nebulous. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I say it as Nebulous, but... You're telling Chris Roberts, go tell Chris. Go play it with me. But does it have ropes? That's a good question. I thought the free fly was going on. It does. It is. It is going on right now. Does that mean we get to fly free ships, or only everyone gets to fly free ships? I don't know if you have to sign up at a specific thing. I think it's like play.sc /free fly. I think you may have to sign up, but I think everyone gets ships automatically. You used to have to like submit a token or something like that for it, but I don't think you have to do that anymore. So everyone should have access to ships. You have to submit the code? Okay. So yeah, it's play.sc /free fly. I'll pull up the what it should look like. So you go down here. Let's ship there and learn more. Get into the verse. You copy that. You list login. You enter your code, and then you download the game. Hours is how long you've been watched, or beers are for giveaways. Yes, hours is just how long you've been on. Beers is for giveaways, which we reset every week. Haven't heard Sins of the Solar Empire mentioned in a long time. Yeah, Sins of the Solar Empire is a good thing. We've kind of entered a dark age of RTS. There's not a lot of push for RTS because RTS requires a lot of time and effort, especially if you're going to try to update the graphics and stuff like that. It's usually more simple, like RTS and RTS in general. Usually a little bit simpler, but you don't see a lot of big names doing it. Would it work for those who are already in the game? Yes, it should. As long as you have an account. There's a bug, though. CIG's hotfix earlier this morning broke something, so the words in the game are misplaced. Don't waste money on upgrading free fly vehicles. No, but if you don't have like a prospector, because it's a Aurora MR, a 100i, a Nomad, a Cutlass Black, and a Prospector. So if you have any of those, if you don't have any of those ships, like especially the Prospector, and you want to try mining, it's a good chance. Are you kidding me? There's a Halo mod? Yeah, there is for Sins of the Solar Empire. Yeah, well, Petroglyph hasn't just done RTS games. They've done a ton of RTS games. I mean, Creative Assembly is also there. They've been doing it as well. There's a company that used to do, is it Relic? did Halo Wars 2. Relic was the old company that did the old Dawn of War games for 40K. Like I said, I'm not much of an RTS player. So the secret of RTS is I love playing RTSs, but I'm god awful at them. So I'd never do content for them. The only reason why I saw Nebulous and was like, I want to play this, is because it looks cool as fuck and fun, and it's right up y'all's alley. Like, I figured like this is something that you all would like to see and try, see me play and see if it looks good to you to, you know, try for yourself. Because if you like it, you might buy it. And for $20, from what I've seen so far, is not a bad deal, especially as it's going to get a campaign in the future. So we don't talk about Dawn of War 3. There's been some rumors of a Warhammer 40K Total War game that's been kicked around. I really hope that's not the case. Hey, what's this? You started out at me? Yes, I did, Bipedal. How you doing, buddy? Age of Empires. Yeah, I think Relic did the recent Age of Empires, didn't they? The most recent one? Dune 1 was really kind of a good strategy quest game from the back in the day. Yeah, Dune and Dune 2 were pretty good. Well, in fact, Halo Wars is the first Halo that was supposed to be on and only on Mac. Yes, Halo was actually originally designed as a RTS, and then eventually became a third-person shooter, and eventually became a first-person shooter. But it started life out as a RTS for the Mac. Back when Bungie was a Mac-exclusive developer. Then it became a third-person shooter for the Mac. And then Microsoft bought them, and Halo became a first-person shooter for Xbox. Repeat question. Are you still considering a YouTube channel for gameplay VODs? I have actually done it. It's called the Astropub VODs. I'll put it in the link in chat. I've actually had it out. Had it up for a couple days now. There's like there's 3 VODs on it right now. I'll put it in chat. There you go. When are we getting Rangers? Yeah, we just thought about that. Not till next year. It's been added to the roadmap, but the roadmap, the progress tracker, I should say. The progress tracker has the sprint going for 32 weeks, straight through the end of the year. And the Apollo as well, 22 weeks, straight through the end of the year. No problem, Jordan. Question. I don't know much about CCUs, but what does CIGF change and how does it affect CCUs? The very basic thing is that in the past, if you had a CCU that was like, say, from a Banu Merchantman to let's just say it was a like Banu Merchantman to a Caterpillar or whatever, and you melted it, it would function. Well, I guess it doesn't function anymore. But effectively, if you had a CCU that was less than the amount that it should be, so like the difference between an Avenger Titan and a Cutlass Black. If you had something that was actually less than that, you could buy back and effectively get a Cutlass Black for cheaper than it should be before. But now all CCUs will just default back to what they were supposed to be, which is whatever the price difference is between the two. It was never, as they said, they even said this back in like 2018. It's never meant to be like a discount. It's just supposed to be a means that you can buy back the ship. So that's the big hullabaloo. And so if you have a CCU active in your account, that doesn't affect anything. It's only if you're buying it back. And in the near future, it's going to do the same thing with war bond discounts and any other discounts. So if you got a ship that was on discount for some reason, including like a 10% coupon that you get for like subscribers, if you had that ship and you bought it for a discount, with a discount, when you purchase, if you're trying to repurchase it, it'll be the full price of what it is at that moment. The change from like a year ago, Jin, it's actually a change from like 2018. There's page pulls from 5 years ago about them talking about this. They just never enforced it. Question: if a big YouTuber like Markiplier, who loves space, caught wind of Star Citizen, would it be good or bad for the game? It'd be great for the game. It probably wouldn't be good for Markiplier. Like, if Markiplier would wanted to play the game, I would like Markiplier to play the game when the game is in a state that Markiplier could enjoy it. No. Here's the reality, and this is something I've seen multiple times. Star Citizen is like, at this point, the poster child for all news is good news. Just spell the name right. That's it. No matter, Star Citizen is made out of whatever material like ducks have on their feathers when water just rolls off their back. Every time some drama or controversy hits Star Citizen, they reach new funding goals. All that it does is give press to Star Citizen. That's all it does. Like, so yeah, exactly. Like, let me put it this way. This last January was the best January they've ever had. February, we had the big changeover in the roadmap. And then we had this whole debacle recently in the last couple of days with the CCUs and stuff like that. And they're almost at, if not already past, what their biggest February of all time. They just get publicity. That's all it is. They just get publicity from the news. It's on track to become the biggest February, and we still have 2 weeks left of February. So if the refundings want Star Citizen to fail, they should shut up. The opposite of hate, the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is apathy. Hate means you still have some sort of emotion towards something. Fiery, passionate, but it still generates emotion. Apathy kills things. Nobody gives a shit, then no one's going to do anything. The fact that someone hates it is actually going to improve the game's performance or like visibility, because people won't shut the fuck up about it. Oh, Chris Roberts is actually a raptor who came from space to eat my children. Like doesn't matter. It's gonna gross more. Now, does that mean that Star Citizen will forever line go up, never stop? Probably not. It'll probably reach a point, and we're probably getting close to it, though I've said that before. But I've heard doom and gloom predictions like this last time. I've talked with people who said, I don't know, man, this feels very different. This isn't like last year. This isn't like every year before this. This is different. People are really mad. And then they had the biggest funding record on year on record, or like the biggest February on record. Like, that is canon. Thank you, Nazareth. That Chris Roberts is a raptor from space who eats babies. Confirmed. Secret Dev Paul said Chris Roberts is a space raptor. What does annoy me is that the pledge/citizen continues to accelerate. It does. We're getting more and more people playing Star Citizen than ever before. Like the majority of these funds, this has been a consistent theory from most of the community who looks at the funds and stuff like that I'm pretty sure is true, is it feels like the majority of the funds that are coming into the game now are from new backers. Not from old backers, not from whales from long ago or even new whales. It's from brand new people buying the game. Because I've heard this 1,000 times that, oh, Star Citizen's reached its maximum peak. It's not going to get any more players. But every time someone says that, there's new players who join. And it's not difficult to see this. Look at Twitch. Look at YouTube. Look at its growth. If there are more viewers and more people watching, more people streaming, more people making content for it, then you're seeing more like the line go up in terms of just active engagement. And if that's the case, new engagement doesn't just show up. New engagement means more people are paying attention to it. And it's more than just, oh, well, this was peaked at this point and then it went down. It's like peaks and valleys are normal for video games and for content. Like we reach summer, like June, this whole place is going to be a fucking ghost town in June because it'll be probably the cleanest summer since 2020, probably no, since 2019 in terms of COVID, at least on right now. So people are going to go out. They're going to go to the beach. They're going to go on vacations, and they don't watch video game stuff when they're doing that. Like I catch my kids at school all the time watching video game live streams and YouTube videos when they're bored, but they won't do that if they're out having fun. Can I ask a big question? You can ask a big question. I may not be able to answer it. I think around November, a lot of players are going to take a break from Star Citizen, play Starfield. Oh, I am definitely too. It's a tiny bit to read. Okay. Did you ask it earlier? I've talked to many people already who didn't even know about the boycott. Yeah, there was really no boycott. Several streamers I watched just got into Star Citizen last month and brought their communities with them. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's true. The small exodus has to play a part as well. The small exodus from what? From like elite? Outside? What is this outside you speak of? Yeah. Wait, there was a boycott? Yeah. Taking a break from SC to play Starfield is a good thing. Yeah, it's great. I mean, look at all the people playing Lost Ark. It's fantastic. A lot of people playing Lost Ark is a good thing. Those people are going to come back in 3.17 feeling a lot more refreshed, a lot less salty. Yeah, we got a bunch of elite guys. Yeah. Well, it's an example. Like I know Star Citizen isn't perfect and it has its problems with transparency. In the sense that I think a lot of people want it to be more transparent than it ever actually is. But you also have to put it into context. Like Elite is a great example because Frontier goes for months, if not years, with zero information about the next patch they're going to come up. And then they release something like Odyssey completely broken, and it takes them months to finally say, this is what we're going to do to fix it. You know, they don't get weekly videos and monthly reports and an updated roadmap on a bi-weekly basis. That's not something they get. We're kind of spoiled for choice when it comes to information from Star Citizen. And that's actually kind of a bad thing sometimes because there's so much information that's in so many different places. It's hard to collate them all, which is why people watch myself and Board Gamer and Super Mac Bros and Mike, because we collate information for y'all, which, you know, hey, I'm not going to complain, but it also means that they're prone to errors. I am not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to misread something. Same with Mike, same with Mac, same with Board. We're all going to do the same. Same with the Tomato. We all have our own takes, our own biases, and our own issues, our own things, which we'll probably get wrong sometimes. So that then gets game of telephoned down the line, and everyone kind of changes, like that. The story changes, and eventually, you know, Chris Roberts promised that there was going to be full frontal nudity in Star Citizen, and then everyone runs with it because Board Gamer said it on a thing, like when he was actually paraphrasing like a tiny little bit from a monthly report which talked about hygiene or something like that. That kind of thing happens all the time in Star Citizen. Collate sometimes translate what they actually mean, yeah. Do you think fake IDs will be a thing after Armistice Zone's crime stats are gone and reputations improve improve to allow people and outlaws to bypass security in places where they aren't wanted? Yes, I do believe fake IDs will be a thing. Question, do you think the reason that dependencies and blockers are not presented on the progress tracker is and or technical / to protect devs against targeted hate / slip their mind / smeh, etc.? It would be great, but I can see how it could be abused inadvertently. It's also a matter of responsiveness. Do you know how many people they have combing through all that information and letting it out to the public? One person. It's Jake. Jake's entire job is to look at all that information and publish it to us in a way that we can understand it. They don't, and as Jake's even said before, he doesn't have the funds to do a lot of things that people want to happen. He's run up the flagpole, he's talked with his bosses and asked them if he could do some more things or try to get more help, but he doesn't have a ton of funds, which is fine. You know, most people would prefer that Star Citizen funds go to make the game, not to pay another person to be not to clone Jake and have two Jakes. So I think the reality is there's just not a lot of information. It's hard. It would be hard to collate that information and get it out to us in a way that be readable. And also I think it's to protect, like, you know, if there's a blocker because, like I said, you know, Jane's having a kid and she's going to be gone for 9 months, but Jane really needed to get that one part done, which is not going to get done until she gets back. So they have to give it to Joe, but Joe's finishing up another project, so he can't get there at that time, you know. And we've had this conversation 1,000 times on office hours. Yes, I know it's not ideal. Yes, you're supposed to hire more people. Look at CIG's hiring page. They are trying to hire more people, and it's not easy because every time they hire more people, they also lose people because people will then get, you know, better jobs in other locations, which will pay better, or, you know, for many reasons. Some people go off to go teaching. Some people have gone to other companies. Some people founded their own companies. It just happens in business. So they have a constant output-input issue where there's losing people because of just business reasons. And then they also have an input issue where they have to hire more people and it's harder to find more people. So to sum up, full frontal nudity, Jake NPCs, and rope fetishes confirmed. Yes, that's exactly what I said. How do you think the detection system will work, or how do you hope it will work? Detection system? Probably the way it works now, but more granular, like heat signatures and like EM signatures and stuff like that. Thing is, a couple of my friends came from Elite and they were baffled about the transparency in Star Citizen and had a community whining about it. Yeah, I've heard that many times before. So I was going to get through some of the backlog. All I know is that I want to race my Ranger in a procedural undercity in Louisville. We should have just stadiums. I've been saying before. Confirmed. Secret Dev Board Gamer said Space Raptor Chris Roberts have full frontal nudity in Star Citizen. What CI is doing is incredible state-of-the-art software development. I wouldn't fluff CIG's balls that hard. I would say CIG is doing a good job and doing a really difficult job, and they get a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do essentially R&D work and just go crazy with ideas and concepts in a field where they often are in such time crunch where a lot of those ideas will be presented and then discounted because it just will take too much time to get it done. And that's why when you see Jared going like, we reserve the right to do these things, it's because the developers really like to do this shit because they're engineers and gameplay designers. They want to do crazy weird shit. They want to reinvent the wheel to see if what happens. And that's what we're paying them for. Sometimes it doesn't work, like, you know, hover mode. Sometimes it works great. Sometimes it's brand new shaking technology, like mining. When mining first came out, it was nothing else on the market was like mining. Shortly after Star Citizen came out with mining, Elite Dangerous just copied mining from Star Citizen. like Like it was insane because like mining was showed off in prototypes, and then suddenly Elite has something almost exactly the same. It's like, damn, that didn't take too long. I remember something like that because I remember people being like, Elite doesn't have this, Eve doesn't have this, and I was looking around like, I think most of it's just shooting rocks and seeing rocks come out. And that changed, so. Hashtag poor Jake, yeah. Jake clones confirmed. Question for people here. Normally, how long does it take to get merchandise to buy from Robert Space Industries? Anywhere between a week and 2 months. It depends on when you buy it and what you're purchasing. Big problem is the tiny pool of genius software engineers. There's just not enough candidates within a budget to meet the level of expertise for Star Citizen development. Yeah, and even if they were going to hire people at a lower position and then kind of train them up to do what they needed to do, you need to have those people in the junior position for 6 to 9 months. And if they work out, then you need to promote them, and then you need to give them another 6 to 9 months of buffer time to get them trained up. Effectively, you can either hire someone who knows what they're doing right off the bat and then give them some time to kind of adjust to how you do things, or you can hire someone who you want to train to do that job, but it's going to take you twice as long and with more resources. Both are possible, but one is going to take a lot longer, and the other one will take shorter, but probably have more bumps because that person could also just up and leave once they get ready. The other problem is you could train someone to be who you get somebody in as a junior gameplay designer, and you work them all the way up to senior gameplay designer, and the month after they get a senior gameplay designer, EA comes down and offers them twice as much money to do the exact same job, and they can do it remote, so they can see their kids. I'd take that job too. Like, I don't care if Star Citizen's like a dream job. So you have those problems as well. A lot of big orgs are dying. The org I was in was big 30 people right now. There's no one logging in. I'm lonely. Then find another org. There's a lot of people who will burst in through the hype and then just kind of peter out as development goes through. Just find another org. So if I buy back later, when the Perseus news release, I have to pay the current price gap from the character Perseus? Yes. I believe it was the standard price, not the war bond. Basically, yes. So if you melted the Perseus now and the Perseus ends up being released at like $700, when you buy it back, you'll have to buy it back at the $700 rather than the $600 you purchased it at. Essentially, what CIG is trying to do is disincentivize you from melting your ships, which may mean that they have less concept ship sales, which could be possible. I guess Star Citizen is one of the few projects where engineers can run crazy with ideas. That's hard to do in the usual copy pasta game development. That's when it's usually happening. Yeah. Part of me hopes they don't do full frontal nudity because it'll delay things for more state-of-the-art schlong swaying physics. Detection question. I mean, while being in a place you're wanted or have the bounty, how should the NPCs detect that you're wanted? Should it be instant, line of sight? How would I do it? How would I do it? I do it based off of your reputation, how negative your reputation is. Level 1, no one would notice you but security officers. Level 2, security officers and, certain archetypes, like mercenaries, would notice you, and bounty hunters. Level 3, you'd see like personnel or like, people who are like janitors or run offices, shops. And then like level 4, everyone notices you. I do it based off of your reputation because that would also match with like they've seen your face on wanted posters kind of thing. So might depend on the security level of the system. A high security system would be harder to break into with a fake ID than a low security system. Yeah, definitely. And it also depends on, where you're entering and such. Where is Chris these days? Last I heard, he's just working on the board and he's moving to Manchester. Still on the board, still taking over control of Squadron, I think, or something like that. I still think he's mostly there to manage the transfer over of everything from, because it feels like what's happening is that CIG's new headquarters is going to be Manchester. I know it's a new office, but it's a huge fucking office, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's their new headquarters. Wait, was there a sidecar for the Ranger? No. How well is CIG's Amazon Lumberyard relationship working? As far as I heard, pretty good. I haven't heard anything bad about it. They haven't sued them yet, so that's usually a good thing. Will Jax McCleary find Chris Roberts in the pirate system? Yes, you will find the naked raptor, baby-eating raptor, Chris Roberts in the pirate system. Finally catched up. Sorry I asked before, but I think you missed it. Any info about when we get the new star map? Nothing. Zero. Zilch. It's not even in the progress tracker as far as I know. Will the buyback thing, this only counts for CCUs, right? Not standalone war bonds. It also counts for standalone war bonds. Basically, any buyback is going to be now back at the standard rate of what it is now, rather than what you purchase it at. Space Harley Davidson when? End of this year / probably more like middle of or early next year. CIG should have warned for us. I agree. That's the one thing I will say that I'm upset about with CIG is that CIG should have given people heads up, because plenty of people would have bought back stuff if they knew this was happening. If you had given them like a week or two heads up, or a month's notice, at most months heads up, people would have been like, this sucks, but we'll deal with it. People would still get angry and butthurt about it. Like, nothing CIG does will ever be right. Period. There'll be people complaining about this game and its development well beyond Star Citizen's, final release, whenever that is. There's just some people just will never shut the fuck up, because that's just the nature of human beings. There's always someone out there with a stick up their ass. So you're never going to please everybody. That's not a Star Citizen thing. That's just a word of advice thing in your life. You're never going to please everybody. I learned that very acutely when I became a content creator. It's that some people just don't care. Not warning was a marketing fail. They left money on the table. Yeah, I think that's the key. Like, that's the other thing is, like, if they had warned people would have bought stuff. We would have probably had 4 times the amount of money that would came in than we do now. Then they did this month. I mean, because like this month is already going to be record sales. CIG gave us a 3-year notice. That's true, but they gave us a 3-year notice and never really implemented it. If they had given us a couple of weeks notice saying, "Hey, yeah, we're going to implement it," people would have complained anyways. But they would have people would have went through and bought their discounts if they had a chance to. Yeah, and the thing is that war bonds. This is something that was explained to me, and I kind of disagree with it. War bonds didn't exist when this policy was created. So you could argue the fact that none of this was even mentioned about war bonds because war bonds wasn't a thing. However, in the 2018 article that was originally posted, it said explicitly that any ships you purchase and CCUs would be would be the current price of what they're available, not any discount that was applied to them or discounted price you got them at, which at least in terms of my interpretation means war bonds. Even if war bonds didn't exist back then, they still exist. That still kind of covers them as being a discounted price from their normal price. But technically they didn't exist by then. I sent it to you like last week, like a couple days ago, Lifto. I could show you the gift. I sent it to your email. Check your email. Is this the 2018 article link I've been wanting to read? Yeah, I can link it to you. It's a capture from the Wayback Machine. Grab it real quick. There you go. Here's the link. I hope they do take the route of how ED did crime stats. The physical security officers would stop and scan you and ask for Moby. Your Moby at a landing zone of if it's high jail at settlement, they'll tell you to leave. Yeah. I imagine it's gonna be something like that. Well, they have a chance app. Apparently, my RSI Perseus is still $600, not $675. Okay, there we go. Question: do you think that your reputation will pass on any amount of your errors if there were to be many deaths of said spaceman or woman? Yes. So a lot of people don't understand what Death of a Spaceman is or how it works. Death of a Spaceman is only kind of a permadeath situation. It is a light permadeath situation. And like everything CIG does, it's in lore. I did an entire video about it, and then I did a follow-up to kind of explain that because some people got confused. But effectively, the way that the gameplay works is you have a hard HP bar and a soft HP bar. Your soft HP bar is your health in game. You know, you get shot, your percentage goes down, whatever. Your hard HP bar is mostly hidden from you. And that is every time you die, depending on how far away you are from the respawn location, the quality of the hospital you're in, the situation, like how badly you got killed, all sorts of different things will determine how much your hard HP goes down. So every time you die and respawn, you're going to come back as the same person, have the same reputations, have the same stuff. But every time you die, your hard HP bar will go down, and eventually your hard HP bar will disappear. When that happens, you have permadeath. The question is, of course, how much is your hard HP bar going to be? Can you, restock that HP bar? And the answer is, we don't know, and probably yes. But based off of what CIG has said in the past, I'm pretty sure that the hard HP bar is going to require maybe 100+ deaths before you actually die. It's not something that CIG wants to happen all the time, but they definitely want to make it a constant stress factor, because you can see your hard HP bar in what it's called the viability score, imprint viability score. So you'll likely be able to see your imprint viability score every time you respawn or if you go into a hospital. It'll tell you what your IVS is, and that'll determine how many respawns you have. And it also determines how you die. So for one of your next captain's tables, could you reach out to Avenger 1? I'd like to hear more from him in a long format. I could talk with him about it. There's a lot of people who are like, hey, invite this guy, invite this person. And I'll get to him eventually. Right now, next week, we have HC Vertigo, who asked if he could come on because he's been on, he's not been on a captain's table for like 2 months now. With Fastcart, who hasn't been on the captain's table in probably 4 months now. So we've got those two regulars coming on. And then the week after that, we have a new face who has to come on. And then we also have, I've reached out to, why am I blanking on his name? I knew his name, then my brain. Minion Soldier. I reached out to Minion Soldier. Both of these folks are pirates in game. So one of them works for Pirate Oregon, one of the other one's Minion Soldier. So we'll talk a little bit more about piracy, how it works now, how do they hope to work in the future, what are the things that needs to happen, that sort of thing. So invite me, the Astropump. At some point, Max. No raffle going on right now. Is the raffle still active? It's probably still fucking active. Yeah, it is. God damn it. It's not actually active on there, but because it's separated, the giveaway is separated from because it's separate from all of the like the notification is separate from everything else, from the actual like giveaway itself. That's how it works. Sorry about that, y'all. I'd love to see guests from other countries than North America, UK area to see their point of view on the game. I've done my best to try to like the person who's coming on for not this coming week, but next week is from Japan. He's from a pirate org from Japan. So got that. Yeah, and I've had people from France, I've had people from Germany, I've had the Space Coder, who's from, I want to say Finland or Norway. He's from some Norwegian, some country over that way, and I can't remember which one. He's gonna hate me for saying that. Darj is on all the time. He's from Slovenia, I think. People from France? Who? It's been a long time since I've had them on. Oh, I can't remember the names. I'd have to look it up. It's been a couple of years. They didn't really speak English, so it was kind of hard to talk with them. See, speak of the devil and he shall appear. Space Cutlet. There you go. Space Cutlet. Get Tirada. I don't know if I could get Tirada to come on. He'd probably like to come on, but doesn't he also do his own version of the Captain's Table, like the same time as I do? To clarify, will the rep of the father, the scallywag pirate known throughout the verse, have an effect on the new character, his sweet innocent that never knew the father but inherited his fleet? Yes. It will definitely impact your character. Not as much. Effectively, all reputation is going to drift back to 0, negative and positive. And when you die, you will take a reputation hit in both ways. So when someone goes, oh, I can just be a pirate scumbag asshole and then just kill myself and respawn as a brand new person with 0 reputation so I can constantly be a troll dick, the answer is that's not how the game works. The game's going to work where if you're a complete douchebag and you have negative reputation from everyone, and eventually you do the big death and you're no longer around anymore, when you roll your new character is just going to have slightly less of that big dick ass reputation. And you're going to have to deal with it. Hey, Red. Like, that's how it's going to work. Like, you can't just be a complete douchebag, die, and then like constantly come back and do those sorts of negative things without consequences. Dick ass rep, yes. Kane Universe, yeah, Kane was on. That's who it was. Kane was on, has been on a couple of times. The other kind of big dick energy. The kind of big dick energy that you don't want to have. You're going to need a proper alt account. Yes. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The problem is that playing a complete hose bag is going to mean you're playing Star Citizen hard mode, because things like potting in Elite or in Eve, if you get caught doing it, and because regeneration is a thing, you're definitely gonna get caught. You will be reported, and it will piss off not only the authorities but pirates as well, because the way that Star Citizen works, or at least is planned to work, is that the quanta system will notice that a increase of violence is in this area. So then, traders and or security will start to increase their presence in that area because they recognize a hotspot forming. And as a result, local NPC pirates will also get dicked over by that maneuver. So effectively, if you're a dick, you're going to piss everybody off, including the people you need to run away to when you're getting chased. So going into Stanton and just saying, lol, I'm playing GTA and seeing how high my negative rep can go. Ha 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 ha, kill everyone's. When you get back to Pyro, you're just going to get killed because you're bringing heat back with you. Because they're just like, no, get the fuck out of here, you psychopath. I don't need that shit on my doorstep. How soon do we have to wait to start seeing the quanta effects in the game? For example, with trading or crime. I would assume that the earliest effects are going to come when we have things like persistence and the cargo rework. So I think the earliest we would see it would be July of this year. More than likely, the first major effects will come in sometime between July and the end of this year. But I don't know how much. They wanted to have some of the stuff as early as the end of last year, but that didn't seem to work out. Oh, there goes Ricky Bobby again with his hands again. Yeah. I just realized MMOs usually have an account chest, so you can transfer items between your own characters. I doubt Star Citizen's going to have that. No, you're probably not going to have that. You can probably send stuff, but anything that is like if a character like a criminal has gear, and they send it to somebody else, it's going to be hot. And if you have equipment that is sent to a criminal, that criminal is going to wear that gear, and that gear will be registered as being purchased by you in the game, and your character will then take a hit because you sent a criminal money and or equipment. Hey man, I can't associate with you for reasons I don't even know you. What kind of anti-griefing mechanisms do you think we might be implemented in the game? It's hard to balance between Kerber and killer PvP universe. It's important to remember that the PvP players, generally speaking, aren't the kind of people who go, lol, kill everyone. They're much more of the looking for skill or looking for challenges. Thanks, Logan. I'll kind of go through it real soon. But yeah, no. So, but even then, I think like if you're talking about actual griefing, I think that we'll see with gosh, what is it? I think what we'll see with griefing, anti-griefing measures is A, reputation will matter, and B, CIG is even not so subtly said that they have a system in place in game, or they're building that system, or already, I think they already have the system, but they're kind of working on it to fine tune it, called the matchmaker system. Now, the matchmaker system is designed to figure out a player's play style and put them into a game with people, or prioritize other players who have similar play styles to them in terms of shards. So there may quite well be shards or entire, effectively, servers, traditional MMO servers, where you could only get dropped into, unless you know somebody who's not, that kind of play style you can get into, where you'll just constantly be dropped into those servers fighting other griefers. I hate that idea. They've also talked about the idea of having some sort of like dice rolling mechanism for the matchmaking, where it's like you are more likely to encounter other people who act like you than people who don't act like you. Yeah, that also things like not necessarily the worst pirates in terms of bad pirates, but like, good pirates get matched up against good bounty hunters. Welcome to Thunderdome Shard, yeah. Just imagine the bouncers at a bar at Ruin Station telling you to hit the road before they throw you at the nearest airlock for bringing the heat here. Yeah, something like that's going to happen. And the simple thing is that your reputation will be coded to the stream layer, and that stream layer will then be passed along to the Quanta system. So your reputation will carry with you wherever you go. Will there be mission givers who will relabel with legit certifications, stolen gear, or even ships for a price? Probably, almost certainly. They even talked about scrubbing ships so you can actually use ships, but there's going to be a process and a fee and or like materials involved that you have to use for them. But that's something that's not going to be decided until they have persistence in, because full persistence isn't even fully in. Now, can you explain to me how to pass through the road of Pyro? Jared said, how do we pass through the road of Pyro? The road to Pyro? It's a rocky road to Pyro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The road to Pyro is the meaning that the Pyro is coming, and they're finishing it up for release. Lifto, did you check your email, see if you got it? Welcome to Fury Road. Yeah. It's hidden. We need to find the Pico head and to unlock Pyro. You must collect all 7 Dragon Balls to usher forth the eternal Jared, who will then grant you access to the to Pyro. Chariots of Pyro. I imagine there might be a crime mission to steal UEE certified transponders for stolen ships. Yeah. Shops, yeah. Awesome. I just want to make sure it got through. Death Race 5, Road to Pyro. The Road to Pyro is paid by many backers. I asked this, but I believe you missed it. The question, how is Japan doing in Star Citizen lore? Is anime still a thing? I really fucking hope so, but there's nothing in the lore about it. Japan's doing okay. There's really nothing about Japan. There's only one explicit reference to Japan as a nation, and that's that a Japanese company purchased the rights to terraform Saisei. But to say that it was a Japanese company is generous. It's a mainly Japanese company at the time before the UNE was formed that purchased the rights to terraform Saisei. So Saisei is more like a conglomerate whose headquarters happen to be in Japan rather than Japanese. Yeah, that's why Misk is out of Saisei. Saisei is like the closest we're going to get to like a kind of like Japanese futurism style of buildings, which I think is kind of a shame. I'd like to see more diverse buildings in Star Citizen, more diverse cultures. You know, if humanity is spread out amongst the stars and we're all supposed to be this big, giant melting pot, you'd expect to see different types of clothing and structures and, you know, that sort of thing. Not just space Asia as Saisei is kind of is. But yeah. I hope you're right. I don't want to devolve into Lord of the Flies game like Rust, Ark, Red Dead Online, etc. I think the key is with Star Citizen is the balance of high sec versus null sec, effectively. Whereas in high sec space, you're probably not going to deal with a lot of problems because it's just too much of a pain in the ass to be a bad guy in high sec space. You might get a couple of lulls out of it, but you won't last very long. And or you won't be friendly to many people after that. Versus nullsec, where there is no law, go nuts. Knowing him, he's all about that zero to hero gameplay, but yeah, I'm sure he has a master dev account. What did Shimpasta say? Do I think Chris Roberts has all-knowing and all-powerful character in Star Citizen? Yes. All devs have dev accounts. I don't know if Jake's here or if anybody else, any other kind of CIG employees here is, but they all have dev accounts, which has everything in the game. Everything. Then they also have their personal accounts. Do I think if you see Roberts in the game, you would be able to take him down, or does his ship have plot armor? Oh, his ship doesn't have plot armor. If I saw Chris Roberts, if we saw Chris Roberts in the game, you'd probably be able to kill him. If Jared ever shows up in a Scouter and Saiyan armor, I am running. No, he's the Eternal Dragon. That's who Jared is. The Eternal Disco. Yeah, it's important to remember that the balance in Star Citizen will be determined by the 90% NPC population. So it's a 9-to-1 ratio where not out of every 9 NPC, for every player there will be 9 NPCs in the universe to kind of balance them out in terms of trade and actions. They actually used to use that as an example. Like if there's a famous pirate called the Dread Pirate Roberts and you go and kill the Dread Pirate Roberts, you would get your name put down in lore as the person who killed the Dread Pirate Roberts. That was their kind of context for like how the lore would work in Star Citizen, where the players would actively impact the lore and change the universe around them. Question, do you think Star Citizen will allow for temporary station destruction? Like when players in Eve protested an event that attacked a station, it didn't really do anything physical in the game, but I think it would be an idea would be interesting. I think if you gave Star Citizen devs enough time and money, they'd make the whole freaking planets destructible. Like Death Star style. But probably not for a while. My guess is they'll probably have some sort of HP or some sort of degradation system, but not like procedurally destroying systems or like space stations. I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe not outside of Squadron, at least for early on. How often do dev play the PU? There is an entire team of developers who are dedicated to just playing the PU, but several developers stream Star Citizen, and many of them play it in their off times, as well. Most of the Star Citizen development team at this point are former Star Citizen or were backers before they became devs. That's what, for anyone who's known me for long enough knows that I know a lot of developers at Star Citizen, at CIG. That has nothing to do with me being like secretly working my way inside Star Citizen. It's just the people, I've been in the Star Citizen community for so long that the people I know were all backers at one point. There's several people who are probably in this chat right now who are Star Citizen developers who I know show up all the time, who never identify themselves as Star Citizen developers, but I know they're Star Citizen developers. Because I just accidentally discovered that because they'd been fans for so long. Like, yeah, I work for CIG now. Like, and that's just the reality of Star Citizen. Pretty much most of the development team at this point are backers who just happen to also work for Star Citizen. So yeah, a lot of them are gamers. They like to play Star Citizen. But they're also gamers. They'll play new games that come out. Like, I know Jake is probably completely immersed in what is it? Forbidden West. I can't remember the name of it. It's not Uncharted because it's the wrong one. I just remember the second name of it. No, the main character's name is Alloy. I can't even remember the name. Horizon, thank you. Horizon Forbidden West. Like, I know Jake is 100% playing that game probably right now. But, and I know a lot of them are playing Lost Ark. Oh, you're totally not angling to get your own bar at some point in undisclosed location, admit it. I'm going to make my own bar, damn it. Totally has nothing to do with sneaking away into it. Don't buy a chat. But who's going to be Piccolo? The only interesting character. That's going to be Jay Lee. I'm only saying that because Jay Lee will laugh at it. It'll never be the glorious you go down to the player that killed as pirate Queefus 69420. Honestly, what I really hope CIG does is with accounts is eventually says that you have an account name, which is your handle, and then you have character slots in that account so that those character slots will have their own names with their own handles. I think that would be a better use of like those sorts of things, or at least being able to have an account that has an actual name attached to that account rather than just being whatever. Than just being like, I don't want to be the Astropub forever. I want to have my character be named Paul Shelley. So when you look at them and you see at their information, it'll say Paul Shelley on it. So the character's name would be Paul Shelley. Now, does that mean we're not going to see Biggest Dickus or 42069 or something like that in the names? Of course not. But like, if you gave people the ability to name their characters, they will name their characters something interesting, not, doing your mom XXX, last name doing your mom XXX. Like, they're not going to do that because people don't want to have that in their name, because it would be incredibly embarrassing if someone in the lore, someone killed the Dread Pirate Roberts and their name was doing your mom XXX. Because you know what? The lore team gets to invent why you have that name. You don't. So the lore team is going to say, cool, you're a fucking loser. Here is your entire profile of you being a complete luckless loser who just so happened to luck their way into killing the biggest pirate of the universe. Enjoy your loser status for all of eternity. Because they will, because they're vengeful petty writers. Is there something, my friend? Biggest dickus? You know that entire, like most of that scene from Life of Brian was actually ad-libbed because the actor who was doing who's playing the Centurion or the guard was legitimately cracking up, and the Monty Python gang guys were like just going into him the whole time. You just denied half of Fortnite. Yes, I did. Wow, can I be that loser? Hi there, I saw two different Mark Hamill versions in Squadron 42 work in progress art. There's the ancient looking one in the red flight suit and the one in the more modern looking blue one in Squadron. It's set in two time periods? No, it's just different things. The more modern blue one is the most recent one. The red one is older, I believe. They've been playing kind of stuff around with that one. I don't think it was ad-lib, it's just the extras were told if they laugh, they don't get paid. Wasn't that it? I thought they continued to push that. Kids will do it because they don't care about lore and would find it funny. Yeah, but that's all right, I'm going to say something that's controversial, but kids aren't playing Star Citizen. Kids don't even fucking know about Star Citizen. There's like a handful of people who are under the age of 18 who play or like, not a handful. It's probably not an insignificant amount, but a tiny portion of the player base in Star Citizen is under the age of 18 or between the ages of 18 and 25. Based off of my demographics, most of you are between the ages of 35 and 45. I just called you out there, Jimmy. Yes, Jimmy, who listens to this at work. Don't turn and look at this. Don't pause it. Just accept it. You're getting old. Actually, my 10-year-old wants to count. I think when Star Citizen becomes a little bit more finished, we'll see more younger gamers get onto it. But Star Citizen will always have a barrier to entry where it requires a significant PC. And since most gamers, younger gamers, tend to favor mobile platforms, things like the Switch, if Star Citizen could run on the Steam Deck, yeah, I think you probably get a lot more younger people, but most of those kind of generational play on consoles because it's what they have access to. No problem, Lord Skibby. Kids would struggle with Star Citizen, to be fair. Gameplay is real complex. Yeah, but I've seen kids do more complicated things. It's more that teenagers, you require a very specific type of person to play Star Citizen in the first place. And people who are older gamers between the ages of, say, 20 and 30, 20 and 40, I would say, that about 20-year gap, are a little bit more interested in kind of feeling a game out. When I was younger, when I was under the age of 18, I tended not to care. I tended to drop games that were too complex. That if I hit a wall and I wasn't really enjoying myself, I'd just quit. Whereas now I'm a little bit more interested in probing what a game has to do, even if I don't really fully understand it or really enjoy it right early on, just to see if it gets a little bit better down the line. I'm out of your demographic next month. No, I mean, that's the prime demo, but it's not the only demo. Over the age 45 to 50 to 60 is the other bigger one. The three big demographics are, for me, 35 to 45. And then the two that are almost equal, I think it's a little bit more for the 45 to 60, and then slightly less is the 25 to 35. It's like 60% of y'all are 35 to 45. I want to say 30% of you are 45 to 60, 20% of you are, or no, that would be 100. My math. Maybe more like 20. It's like 20, 20, and 60. Ish, give or take a few percentages here. like less than a few percentage points is under the age of 25. And 99% of y'all are dudes. Only 1% of you are women. And those 1% of you who are women, thank you for putting up with my bullshit. Very specific set of skills. Actually, I just have one skill. Well, maybe it's not a skill. I'm just old. It's a sausage par up in here. There are no girls on the internet. On the internets? Yes. Woman. To quote Animal. I'm not going to watch ISC live, but you should watch ISC if you haven't done so. ISC is pretty good. And a couple things to take into account. Number one is the DNA system looks fine. I don't know why it was delayed so much. I don't really see a difference. Does anyone in chat really see a difference from the new system to the old system? It looks like the same system, but now with eyebrows. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The internet, where men are men, women are men, and children are FBI agents. Previous IC showed a little bit better. Eyebrows do make a huge difference. Like, people don't realize how much we rely on eyebrows to judge emotions and stuff like that. It also sets off a little bit more about what a character is. Also, wet eyes, yeah. It feels like it's a lot of more dialing in than significant overall. It also doesn't look like the new hair system. It doesn't look any different from the old hair system, at least. I also noticed that they didn't say a damn thing about facial hair, which tells me that they probably dropped that like a hot potato because it probably wasn't worth it. The concept of having a beard that you grew out, you had to shave, was kind of bonkers. I know. It exists in Red Dead Redemption, or Red Dead Redemption 2. That's cool, but like, I'm cool without it. There goes Ricky Bobby with his eyebrows again. Bones don't grow beards? Nah, just in the 30th century, they got rid of beards. I think what they'll probably have is facial hair, but it won't be like growth facial hair. It'll be kind of static hair. Is that hair would be later? Okay. Question, do you think radio stations will be in-game / music player in-game to jam out while you have your bounties and dance in an 890 jump? Yeah, I think we'll have that. I think that's going to require some effort on CIG's part for creation, but it's very easy. I think radio stations are the easiest ones to do. You probably have a couple of new stations here and there. It's important to remember that Star Citizen is currently really bogged down because a lot of its gameplay and everything else is locked into pillars which are still yet to be completed. Persistence is a big one. Quantum, the dynamic economy and dynamic universe is still another, and server meshing. Like, those three things are holding pretty much everything up. We do know that they're getting to finish that because, for instance, planetary nav mesh can only exist if they can reduce the amount of entities that are on screen, which is done by a couple different methods, but the major methods are things like persistence and Gen 12 renderer and server meshing. So it's obvious that the nav mesh was designed so that they could kind of expand missions out. And the fact that they're starting to just spitball mission ideas like planetary bounty hunting, like aerospace bounty hunting, where you're like in planetary environments, and the NPC transportation missions they were spitballing. It's obvious that they're at a stage where they're trying to expand out because they're trying to time their stuff that they can get done with the back-end optimizations that are needed to those things to exist in the first place. You can't have beard and a helmet in life. The reason you have women's hair like it is because the women's hair, because of helmets, hair would screw up the seals. Yeah, but it's also a game. Server meshing will fix everything. Server meshing will fix nothing. Server meshing is not a fix, it is an obstacle. That's the important thing to remember. Server meshing, what it will do is it'll allow for more gameplay to be added. But it is not a fix. It is not Jesus come to save you. It is a giant wall that you either have to beat down, climb, or blow up. Will server meshing make you younger? Yes, in the sense that it'll punch you so hard you'll go back in time. Server meshing then release in a month. Now I know you're trolling, Sugar. Yeah, the thing that server meshing will allow to happen would be to allow for it will allow for more gameplay to be developed. So a lot of the teams that have neat ideas or want to get started on things like certain missions or things that require more NPCs, like the idea of populating landing zones with NPCs flying around, or people walking around inside like loading and unloading areas, which would take a lot of memory. They need to have things like server meshing in so that they can free up enough memory to do that. That's really what it is. Server meshing cured my balding. Yes. You lies, Paul. Server meshing is the Jesus patch. Will we have the Endeavor and a gold pass before we can eat a slice of pizza? That's a good question, CIG. Where's my fucking pizza? What are you talking about? Server meshing released yesterday. That's true. That is true. Server meshing will make everything more, better, and bigger. Server meshing is going to be a gloriously hot mess. What's the most recent progress I've gotten on Quantum? Seems like we haven't heard anything for a while. We haven't heard anything for almost a year. Yeah, I know. Yeah, someone said Anna Dimitru, I can't remember to say her last name, did voice acting in Horizon Forbidden West, which is pretty cool. She plays Ruina Dooley in the Xenothreat. She also plays the assistant, the holographic assistant in Microtech, who's definitely not an AI. Stop talking about pizza. God, I want some pizza. I'm sorry. If it helps, I had Mexican earlier tonight. Mexican food. Three good tacos from a local place. Didn't Tony give a big update at CitizenCon? Yeah, I guess he did, but it was mostly just rehash of what he talked about in the summer. Oh, Xylo's here. Delayed. Which was delayed? Pizza? Are you telling me the pizza's delayed? They reference the pizza for the record. Okay, good. Xylo, can you tell Jared that he still owes us all pizza? I'm never gonna let that down. I still don't remember exactly when that was, or who, or what it was, or the context. All I remember is that you bet Jared that that the community he would owe the community pizza if you won, and you won. So I want my pizza, Jared. That does not help, but thank you. What are you talking about there, Patrick? Oh, about the pizza. Yeah, I got you. I am never letting that one go. Good. Hold him accountable. I still say, I know all of the art team would be with me on this. You just got to make a pizzeria that's Chef Disco Lando's pizzeria, Chef Lando's pizzeria, and Disco Pizzeria, Discoria, Chef Lando's Discoria, because it's a disc, get it, like a pizza. There we go. And you just have a cartoon mock-up of of Jared doing the pizza guy thing, holding the pizza box going, "Mwah." And you know, do I play Star System much yourself? Yeah, I play it every Friday, Sunday-ish. I actually have an entirely different account where I put up my VODs where I play on twitch.tv/theastropub called Astropub VODs, which I actually started uploading because people were like, Paul, do you even play the games? Like, yeah, I play it all the time. I've been playing it pretty much every week for years. We demand pizza transparency. Yeah, it's called the Astropub VODs. It's pretty simple. Papa Landos. There we go, Papa Landos. Discoria. Coffee. Give coffee machines. I want coffee in game. You're gonna get coffee in game in 317, but only in only at Area 18. Disco pizza. There you go. That could work too. The disco pizza. It's not AI. You can pick up coffee. You just got to pick up coffee at Area 18. Lando calzones. Not only pizza in the verse, but it's not a disc. Pizza that's not a disc. The day I can climb out of my ships and go up to a coffee machine and make a cup of coffee and eat a slice of leftover pizza will be the day I consider Star Citizen complete. Could you theoretically take a beer glass from a bar, drink it, and go into the Habs in Lorville and use it with a coffee maker? I don't know. I think it's hard coded to the coffee cup right now. The hot coffee maker in the Hab, yeah. Not compatible with a nutrition system. If they send me a good pepperoni hearty pizza, I might as well buy another Polaris. Why no coffee at Lorville? I can tell you why. This is entirely not official. But based off of reading the monthly reports and the sprints and everything like that, the coffee guy is actually a kind of a new prototype for bartenders. So they were playing around with bartenders and they wanted to see what they could make with the bartender AI with some updates and revisions. And so they created a barista. And they're like, where would a barista be? And they just put them on Area 18 to see if it works well. I don't know why. Maybe because that team likes Area 18 to test in. I don't know. But they tested him, he worked, and then they just said, it works. Let's put it in the game. Why not? So it's basically a prototype is what we're getting, which is not unusual. CIG does that a lot with like prototypes. Even if it's only one location, they'll still put it in. Think about like all the mission givers. A lot of the mission givers are prototypes. Riding around my Vespa, cruising on my Vespa, got diarrhea from Discoria. So waiting to get a taco truck. That's true. I'm a terrible rapper. I have no sense of rhythm, and I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. I'm a better singer than HE Vertigo, but not by much. And then the community turned on them. Those poor guys, yeah. A lot of mission givers are lies. Miles Eckhart functions perfectly and is on the cutting edge. Emphasis on cutting. We used to be able to smash glasses on the ground, but then CIG did a free flight, and it was we were throwing stuff at each other and killing each other in armistice zones, because The secret is that if you have something like a box or a piece of inventory, if you hold down place and then you angle up, you'll get a little dotted line where you can throw it. And you could, if you were clever, you could drop a grenade, pull the pin, and then hold on to it, and then walk into an armistice zone and throw the grenade. Or no, I think you could pull the grenade off of someone's chest, pull the grenade and throw it in armistice zones. So people were just grenading armistice zones to death. So CIG did what CIG usually does in their solution, which is just remove the ability that caused the bug in the first place, rather than fix the bug. So they just prevented anyone from throwing anything in armistice zones. Pocket pizza sounds wrong, Max. I don't Paul, Star Citizen has so much way to go. I doubt a lot of people will be alive to see it completed. Chris Roberts laid down the foundation for himself and his family. Well, we just have to live healthy. Oh, nah, Star Citizen's gonna be finished. It's really, really hard to explain to people that the reason why a lot of stuff isn't done is because the basic gameplay, like the basic foundations, still aren't finished. Which is why you hear everyone say, like, when server meshing is in, you'll see a explosion, like the dam will be released. And I think it's a little over dramatic, but I think you'll see a lot more experimentation where CIG is free to just try shit out to see if it works. Drop down missions, put in new mission givers, do entire new events, and without having to worry about basic tech being implemented before they could do it, they're able to do it. But one of the advantages is this long process of building all of these tools to function in the game. They've built some tools and to replace those tools and built new tools, and they'll constantly build new tools. But all their tools are getting better and streamlining the process for future gameplay. So at a certain point, Star Citizen is going to reach a point where they're doing as much as they can with the resources they physically are able to manifest. And as long as they're still being funded, they'll still develop the game. You go play the original trailer and see how far. Go play the Imagine trailer and then come back and see how far we've gone. I think a great stepping stone would be sitting in my hab drinking coffee from Odin System. Okay, honestly, is anyone else finding that grenades just don't explode nowadays? I threw like 20 grenades into the last 3 days. No booms, no dead guys. Yeah, I don't think they don't work very well. And people are going to be shocked when at the AI when given the server that only has to deal with the slice of the verse. Played Xenothreat on a low pop server last weekend, and AI was lethal. They will team up on you and kick your ass. Like AI right now will just missile you to death. Like their current like the way that they react, they see you, they launch missiles at you. So if you have more than 3 AI and you just aren't good at timing or you don't have chaff, you're dead. Why doesn't my toilet and my prospector not work? I don't know. Why does your toilet and your prospector not work? That sounds like your toilet and your prospector works. I don't know why it works. Don't ask me. I'm not a plumber. Odin Force, blend beans and Odin yet. I interviewed with Turbulent. That's what they told me. CIG likes to throw things at players and see how it ends up. Yeah, but they aren't able to really renovate. They're not really able to do that until they have the tools in place. Once they have the tools in place, they'll be able to experiment more, which means what everyone wants, more gameplay. It also means a lot weirder shit happening and things happening that people didn't expect, like carts. But it does allow them to experiment more. And I think that's the key thing, is like, eventually Star Citizen will have all the base building blocks. They'll have multiple systems. You know, people say, oh, well, it'll take them 100 years to get 100 systems out at one system per year. And the reality is CIG will probably reach a stage where they're dropping 2 systems, 3 systems a patch.
at that point, Star Citizen, because again, the issue is not building the systems, it's the back end functioning that has to get working first. But I'm under no illusion that's gonna take any time. Like, that's still gonna take 3-5 years at the earliest. Another 10 years to get everything fully functional. But that point, it doesn't even matter. When you have 17 systems in the game, and it's a game that's supposed to have 100, in a game like Star Citizen, do you fucking give a shit? Like, at a certain point, it's like, yeah, more content. But Stanton is already pretty good. A handful of new systems will keep things spicy. But once you start reaching like the 10, 20 system mark, you're never going to be able to travel to all of those systems in a gameplay session. At best, you'll be able to get to like 5 of them because of just the distances you're talking about. So gameplay is very varied. It'll be very varied in comparison. Squad 42 is a scam. Well, no, the whole game's a scam. Question: would we have a roundtable with you with some devs? Okay, so I said this before. I'd love to have captain's table with developers on talking, on game, or like on the captain's table. If I ever did that, we would not ask any Star Citizen questions at all. Because I am not interested in talking to devs about Star Citizen. I'm interested in hearing about devs, their favorite games they've worked on before, what inspired them, what got them into gaming in the first place, what got them into game development, funny stories from game development, advice they give to other game developers, things they would think tell people who may not know much about development how development works, and those sorts of things. Because I think that's far more insightful and far more interesting than what have you done on X feature. I'm sure they'd be excited to talk about certain features they've created, but that kind of developer roundtable would end up quickly into just people asking stupid when questions because they think they could, and badgering the developers, which is not what I really want to do. Oh yeah, I haven't done that yet, Yubi. I'll definitely have to put that in there though. Thank you, Bobby. I need to shave a little bit because I'm getting a little bit of neck beardy thing going on, but that's really what I'd like to be at, more like that. But you can see the sides. Problem is I wear a mask all day at work, so I don't even think about it. Thank you, Silent. Yeah, it's not on the feature channels. Yeah, I forgot. I just blanked on doing it on feature channels. Wear a scarf. Just shave is what I need to do. It doesn't help that my wife so my wife is younger than I am. She's, I think 3 years younger than I am. But my wife is quickly becoming 7 years my senior. And my wife creates content here on Twitch as well. It's CamDie42. She does Terrible Art Tuesdays, and on Wednesdays and Thursdays she does gameplay streams, and she has her own accounts. She's a writer. She's trying to get her book published, so she's trying to get more back out into the scene. She used to do a lot more stuff on Twitch and stuff like that, but kind of fell off the scene. She wants to come back into it, so encourage you to go check that out if you enjoy, not necessarily if you enjoy me, but if you enjoy chiller versions of what I do. She's much more talkative. She's a lot more personable, but I digress. She managed to rack her back pretty badly. So she has her lower back is completely thrown out, or she can't bend over without being in extreme pain. And she's been like this for a couple of days now. So, I only bring that up because I've been distracted. Between that and work, I've been dealing with things. You create a romper, yeah. Yeah, I'm 35. She's turning 31 in May. So I guess about 4+ years. You have a link to your wife's channel? Wife's channel? Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. There you go. That's fair. It's tough having people you care about in pain. She's managed to work around it. She got a back brace off Amazon that helps her move a little bit better, but it's not something that's permanent. It's one of those things that I think it'll pass eventually. You got a food chiropractor? A good chiropractor? No. It's the first time her back's ever been thrown out like that. They say I'm robbing the cradle, but I like to think she's robbing the grave. Yeah. 5 years difference is that much. Let me do it this way. It's 4 years-ish difference, and we've been together for 15 years now? No, 14 years now. We've been married for like 9. So I've been with her for a very long time. Yeah, I'll do that. Hold on, let me put the exclamation point February. I can't spell. Yep, put it in chat again. There you go, for those of you in YouTube. So then it's been a while. Well, considering she's 30, we've been together for almost half her life. Like, we started dating when she was 19 and I was 21. No. 19, I was 22. In college. Sort of thing. It's still just a while. I know you do a Star Citizen podcast. This is still Star Citizen. Yes. I'm out of the Star Citizen community for multiple months. Only any other content any other content you recommend to follow for Star Citizen or just gameplay in general? Your chiropractor for today, yeah. It's a long time, long term for 6 years. Yeah, we've been married since I was 25. So she was 22, I think. Yeah. Tarzan specifically. So I would definitely follow the Info Runners. The Info Runners is another channel that I'm on frequently, but they have lots of experts and other things. They talk a lot about ships and such. Those guys with ships does a pretty good job. The Space Coder does a lot of good information about changes and stuff like that, and updates. Gosh, who else is there? I'm gonna make people angry. If you want to see a lot of like low flying and PvP stuff, people like Space Cutlet and Moist Noodle and the Dark Law and Captain Burks are all good content creators to go watch. In terms of YouTube as well, did I say those guys with ships? Because those guys with ships, the Yacht Club SC is another good one. Straight Out of Stanton, it's another one that I watch every so often. Go to bed. Could say hi to me for when I listen to the rest of this 1K. Hello, Jordan. You're listening to this now while you're at work. You're doing a good job, Jordan. Thank you for listening to the Astropub. Remember, you can always support the Astropub through your donations on Patreon. Patreon.com/galactichistorian. Or you can give us a tip. Just the tip. on Twitch or YouTube when we're live on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Thank you. I do have a radio voice that I can get into every so often. Hello and welcome back to the Astropub. Your top 40 hits all night. Soul Citizen. Yes, Soul Citizen is another one. So I can melt the 3 cubby I gave you? I don't think you can. You can't get credit for it. No, I'm just being very, very sensual. There used to be a podcast that came out every 2 weeks. It was called Fortnightly something or other. Had that guy in it. He really liked vehicles. And that other guy, who I hear is applying for a voice actor position with the Disney Plus show, which is pretty exciting. Space Tomato was great. Yeah, as I said, Space Tomato, Subliminal. If you like combat balance stuff, he's another good one to watch. Super Mac Bros. I like Board. Board does a good job, but I'd watch Super Mac Bros and Board. Board Gamer and Super Mac Bros are both are people I would watch at the same, not the same time, but like I'd watch one then another on the topic if I were you, just because they have similar enough takes on things that you could see what they're going with, but they're, you can see some similarities, but they do differentiate every so often. Morph, I don't know if Morph still does Star Citizen. Last time I saw Morph do Star Citizen, he was basically like Star Citizen is being super non-transparent, and now he's doing Space Engineers. So I'm imagining he's taking a break from Star Citizen for a bit. Does he still stream Star Citizen? Because I know he hasn't done any YouTube stuff for a while. I'll be happy when I'm drinking Odin coffee in my hab, sitting on my sofa watching the highlights of the race on Daymar with a cup of coffee in their catching up their favorite. Okay, I get you. Praise be the Infrarunners, in the name of the Caterpillar, the Crucible, and the Holy Endeavor. Praise be the Endeavor. Praise it. Okay, cool. So yeah, Morph is another person to check in. Morphologist is another one to check on. And he does Star Citizen live streams. He also does a lot of reviews on ships and stuff like that. He's an actual architect. So I don't remember who asked this question. I'm just going to go listing off everyone I know in the community. All right. I'm going to say this because I think it's important to remind people. Mike is another one too. Salty Mike does great rundowns of weekly stuff. Now, it's okay to not like a content creator. It's okay to say, I don't like their content. It's okay not to like my content. I get it. I'm not for everybody. No one's for everybody. But like, and no one said this in chat yet, but I've also seen it going around the community sometimes where people are like, oh, this fucking content creator, I fucking hate this person. Don't talk like that in my chat or in my comments or anything like that, because you can get the fuck out. Because as a content creator, I know how fucking stressful and hard it is to make content, especially for a game like Star Citizen. So even if I disagree with someone's take in Star Citizen, I'm never going to shit on them. And I'd never ask anybody else to either. If they're not your cup of tea, that's fine. That's fine. But just don't be a dick. I have enough people shitting on Star Citizen and blaming me for it, or like coming to my channel to be a fucking free therapist for their Star Citizen problems, that I don't need more, and I know none of them need that as well. No, you're good, Grim. It's just somebody else. I saw that in somebody else's Discord. I think it was Mike's, but it was somebody else's Discord. We just said something very similar, and I'm just like, I've seen, and I when I saw it, I recognized that there were some people I've seen kind of being a little salty about it in the past, and it's not individual. No one here in chat has said that or anything like that I've seen so far. That's fine. It's just more of a like a public service announcement. Release Squadron 42, Paul. Yes, I have that control. Morris Rise to Fame started with the Architect's review of the 600i. Which he shit on, didn't he? He absolutely shot on it. There's no breaks. Oh, there's only Star Citizen. Gotta say, I love your attitude. Thank you, Red, for the 1999, buddy. As far as Star Citizen community is the streamers, podcasters, creators, hosts, really best part of the experience. Something for everyone. Salty, smooth, sweet. Yeah. Public service subscription doesn't exist in Texas. It does. It's just usually not a good idea. Because of Morph, I can't do any 890 jump mission without being highly critical of the stairs. We shut on Kotaku though? Of course. Kotaku is not a content creator. Kotaku makes clicks to make money. I mean, there's also something different between content creation and journalism. Journalism isn't in of itself is going to be negative. Just because good journalism is going to find bad parts in things. And great journalism is going to do some shit that's probably not so unbiased, because the reality is there's no such thing as unbiased journalism. There never has been. It's a myth. But you're always going to flirt with negativity because it's kind of part of the job. Always has been. So don't dish it out if you can't take it. That kind of thing. Like, I actually have no problem with Kotaku if their writer is doing a good job writing an article. But like 9 times out of 10 in a Kotaku article is just garbage. It's garbage to get you to click it. They get some money. That's just not even Star Citizen. That's just Kotaku. Toy, thanks for the raid, buddy. How you doing, buddy? What are my projections for the Ranger? Not until March or April of 2023. Because currently both the Apollo and the Ranger, their sprints go off the map. So I'm not thinking until like early next year. The 609 renovation is highly anticipated. Yes. Probably the Pioneer's waiting on Rastar. No, it's probably waiting on a lot of stuff, including Persistence. Don't write on rich people, rag on Kotaku. Paul, should I buy a Storm Surge? It's so tempting, and it's $20 off on Amazon's. Please stop me. Do you not have a Storm Surge, Cyber? Like, don't do me, you know? Don't go and buy a bunch of this stuff. Just because just because it's like the meta or whatever. I mean, I didn't do that for the meta because I just didn't have an army. But if you don't have a Storm Surge, just buy a Storm Surge. Storm Surge is a Tau battlesuit for Warhammer 40k. Did you go buy Tau? So, story about my Tau. I have Tau, but that's only because I kind of accidentally into Tau. When I first started buying 40k back in 2020, I bought a Kill Team package, which came with a bunch of terrain. Because I remembered when I played 40k back in the day that terrain was important, but very hard to get. And so people would usually just use boxes and stuff like that. So, and Kill Team was the thing that I was told to get into, just to try to get back into the game. I bought a kill team set so that I could play, with friends or the wife or whoever. And it came with terrain. So I mostly focused on the terrain, fixed that up. But it also came with a set of Tau and a set of Space Marines. I built the Space Marines, painted them up, and I had Tau assembled, but never really did with anything with them. I was like, maybe I'll sell them. I don't really have interest in Tau, especially since I was a guard player. And then another kill team set came out with Sisters, which I got for Cam, but also came out with more terrain. So I was like, that's more Tau. And so at that point, I was like, I have 2 full units of Tau. Why don't I just buy a start collecting box? They're going to come out soon with the new one anyways. And then I got a tiny little Tau force. So yeah, I have an entire Tau army now. That's that story. I mean, it's not huge, but it's like 2 start collecting boxes and a couple of extra add-ons. So it is the Tau's time to shine, very much so. We're talking about 40K. I'll talk about something else though. Astropub Salty Mike has good content, just a little too negative for my tastes. I hope he can grab some water and dilute. That said, love your Galactic destroying pieces and your lore coverage. Thank you, Ashman. Yeah, no, I don't mean to say. Again, that whole speech was mostly to the fact of saying like it's okay to not like someone's content. Just don't shit on them. It's okay to say, Mike's not my cup of tea, or I'm not too interested in the Dark Law or Board or whoever. It's okay. That's how people are. There are content creators that I follow for other content that I just don't follow that often, but I know they exist. I follow other ones. Because that's just kind of who I am. That's kind of who I like. So, Me Too Starfare is a loaner for the Endeavor. I should have a good couple of years of the Starfare gameplay before the Endeavor is flyable. That's true. The Dark Law's best when he's been drinking. The One Under Eye has flight assist. That's cool. All the ships have flight assist. The One Under Eye has a fuel scoop on it, though. Captain's Day with a pair of drunk Celts was the best ever. We actually never released the Q&A because he was that drunk. What headphones are you using? They look like AirPods, but nicer. Dog, these are garbage. I don't even remember what kind they are. They're discount brands that are wired. They do have metal on the back, though, so you can gotta do that. As I drop it. They have like little like magnets in the back, so you can kind of gotta store it. So I like your stream with tomato and subliminal. That was really good. Yeah, sure. If you want to do that, renovate, we can do that. I'll get it started here. The only problem is that I can only do it on Twitch. Because I can't do it on YouTube. Renovate saying he wants to offer a giveaway of a hover quad, so I can do that. But it'll only be on YouTube, or on Twitch, not on YouTube. You have to be live on Twitch with us. Twitch.tv/theastropub. You can send me some of your good earbuds you want to set. I'm okay right now. You slipped and fell into space communism? Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I saw that, Jin. I saw that. We had a spare bedroom in my house, which is essentially like when Cam and I have kids, that'll be their room, but it has no purpose right now. So I've converted it into a 40K gaming room. I just leave all of the finished terrain pieces I've painted up there, and just leave the mats out. All right, let's do that. Let's do this giveaway. I'm cool. Are you still cool with it, Renovate? Boo, Twitch. Do I think they'll launch the mythical refinery ship at 317 with refueling? No, because they've already said that they when they do refining, it'll be the first ship that'll have refining is the Starfarer. You like 40K? Check out FlashGit's channel. Of course, I love FlashGits. I know FlashGits. Avenge me, brother. Cool. All right, let me do the giveaway. Thank you so much for that Prime sub there, V Jaggers. Oop. I'm gonna give everyone some of this stuff right here for you. Thank Renovate for this one. Run for a few minutes. Kale, you said something earlier about something. I wanted you to say it. Major Kill's good for 40K as well. I listen to Major Kill. I sometimes don't always watch Major. So here's the secret, y'all, about lore. If it's a science fiction project I've mentioned or have... Okay, let me put it this way. If you've seen a lore video on the internet or lore creator on the internet, I probably also follow them. Major Kill, Luton, Black Pants Legion, with Tex, Oxhorn, Eckhart's Ladder, Generation Tech. Yeah, this is the quad. This is a quad. No, this is a quad giveaway from Renovate. Renovate's offering to give away a quad, so this is from Renovate. What if the Redeemer got a repair and rearm module? Possibly. I saw Goodish having a blast on his quad. That's good. Absolutely not. No shit on anyone whose content is good. Just look for a little bit more positive outlook. Too much overall negative in the world. Yeah, I can see that. Anything about Habs? About Star Citizen Habs? It was on the progress tracker. They had a persistent Habs, and then they push it off because they don't know when persistence is going to land yet. That Endeavor will definitely be out in 5 years, 7 years. Oh, 7 years. Endeavor is going to be out after Star Citizen's released. I used to take styrofoam from packaging, break it up, and paint it. It was like the late 90s. Yeah. Yeah, see, like the last time I played Warhammer, to date myself a little bit, was when I was in middle school in the late 90s. Don't buy the Storm Surge. Buy the Storm Wall, Kagnigator, Colossal from War Machine. A new codex is fun. I stopped playing at the end of Kale. All right, Kale. That's what I was wondering for that. The new codex is broken. the new Tau are 7th edition broken. There are some things that need to be fixed, and they're just going to be really powerful. But like, I don't think they're super broken. I was playing Bretonians then. I can't do that anymore. Yeah, because they don't exist anymore in Sigmar. Taurus Cletus. I don't know what that was about. Trucker Cletus. I would love it if a Carrack got a surveillance module you could use in orbit to gather planetary income. Yeah, I was until yeah, I think it could be added to the scanners probably. I think that's really what you're going to see with the Carrack is going to be more scanners. trying to look through all the spam to see who's got what. Oh, very neat. Yeah. Only Red Horror Heresy? Okay. Question. CIG made an announcement of bringing in change of atmosphere/pressure. Awesome. But has CIG mentioned turning off or damaging ship's gravity generators? Yes. Yes, they have. They just don't have that quite done yet. That's actually part of the push-pull system and the new EVA systems, which they've said is going to be added to Squadron before it's added to Star Citizen. Yeah, but the MSR would be the scanner ship. It can. Will they add any lightsabers or alien swords like Halo Energy Sword? Probably not. I'd love to see them. They do have alien weapons, like the Van Duel. The Van Duel have a staff weapon, which shoots like laser bolts, but is also a spear. It's a Jaffa spear weapon. But like with actual points to it. There's the Banu rocket launcher. Love to see something done with the mission-wise with ArcCorp districts. Yeah, I mean, I do too. I think they could do. I think honestly, when you look at their work on the work with offices for Orison, I think that's can easily be transferred over to offices in ArcCorp to allow for like a office building to exist where you can go into the office building and deliver boxes or pick up items or, you know, hostage rescue or, you know, even like go to an office, we'll go down to a place, pick up a NPC from where they are. And, you know, basically it's like a taxi service, a personal taxi service. But I don't think we'll have lightsabers, but I would love to see more melee weapons in Star Citizen, but we'll see. Or HQ, yeah. Use the MSR for the planetary scanning with a Drake making the courier runs. That is a whole separate problem for a game engine. I mean, they have melee in game though. Sometimes you just need a club of fool, yeah. What's my opinion of the Gladiator? It is completely underrated and is a fantastic ship that more people should be using. It's a really good ship. Asher, I look forward to hangar implementation so you don't need to wear spacesuits and can wear clothing everywhere. Yeah, I mean, that and having the Armistice Zone go away, because a lot of people don't realize is that when the Armistice Zones go away, the forced Armistice Zones, I should say, not like Armistice Zones, overall, you won't be able to walk into places like Area 18 like you're about to assault Normandy Beach filled with armor and weapons and ammo and stuff like that. You're not going to have that in you're not going to be able to do that in Area 18. You're going to have to check your stuff in a locker or leave it in your ship and wear normal clothes out to Area 18 wherever you're going. We need officer power swords like the Astromil Tolerant. I'd like to see chain swords. Probably not chain swords, but at least axes. I'd like to see an officer sword though. And I also want to be able to turn out of a tumbril. So I can pull out a sword, turned out of my tumbril, Nova, and go drive me closer. I want to hit them with my sword. Yes, Kale. Character equals better range scanners. Odyssey, better short range, mid-range, omnidirectional scanners. Odyssey is less of a scanner ship and more of a mothership, where it's going to rely on the ships that it carries with it to have better scanners. MSR is a huge ship for stealth. You'd probably more like use a Herald or a Terrapin, honestly. If you're doing stealthy recon stuff, it's going to be a Terrapin.
It would be cool just to add more variety to the game. I think that melee weapons would make sense in the Star Citizen universe, also because fun, but also because if you're doing some sort of takeover of a ship, tight corridors don't do well with weapons. So having some sort of ballistic riot shield and a melee weapon where you can sprint through with light armor and stab people, for like boarding actions that allows that you don't have to carry a ton of ammo would be a good idea in my mind. With the development of tools to build planets and other systems, making future development easier and maybe quicker, what projects do you suspect CIG would migrate those resources to? The resources that are currently building tools for planetary development, they'll probably migrate them to other aspects of planetary development, like we saw with rivers being added and roads being added and lava flows being added. I imagine they'll do more tools for like paint tools. They're just going to constantly update the images, like the planets as much as they can, and build new tools to help those out. Cyberpunk got knife throwing, so we should get a knife throwing too, right? Yes, exactly. We get it. We have to have our sympathy gift. I can only hope that equipable player-made loadout packages come before the loss of armistice zones. Yes, I hope so as well. That you can basically pre-order or rush order those so you can have them. Tools, brother. And lots of Warhammer power swords, chain swords, axes. Yeah. A whale lance. My Cutlass Blue anniversary package included a stun baton. That would be a cool melee weapon. They're definitely going to add that. They also showed off recently a taser weapon that's designed, which, like, a lot of the stuff, effectively, if you look where CIG is going and has been going for the last couple of months, you can see their plan. CIG wants to they want this year to be the year that they're finished with most of the major milestones. Now, we're not going to get dynamic meshing this year. We might get static meshing this year. And if we do, Star Citizen will be in a very different place in 2023 than it is going to be this year. Because the only real major additions to Star Citizen still need to be made by that point, if they haven't already done so, would be like dynamic mission givers and dynamic mission systems. So like the dynamic economy, which may already be in place by the end of the year. I have no fucking idea. It's not really been mentioned, so my guess is no. But they have been doing a lot of work on AI, so. Dynamic server meshing. But it's important to remember that dynamic server meshing isn't really a thing that's needed for Star Citizen to advance. It's more of a optimization than it is a fundamental tool. The difference, as far as I understand, I'm a layman. I don't understand half the shit CIG says, especially the engine team. They speak a different language. But what I can gather is that fundamentally, the way that data is transferred and handed off back and forth between a dynamic versus a static session is trivial. What matters is more how the servers react rather than necessarily how data is handed back and forth. Because data is all on the back end. And I know a lot of people were confused by this because I've seen more than a few people be like, well, when anything goes on the back end or anything happens, you're going to have major issues you're going to need to wipe, right? And the answer is no, because the back end already exists. Like, that's what the whole inventory system is. When I say something like the inventory system was a major addition to Star Citizen, like the new inventory system, and people go, whatever, it's garbage. It's like, no, you don't understand. The entire back end was replaced. They have a brand new back end for all of the items in game. And this is the back end, the first part of the back end, which is for full persistence, which will then lead to server meshing. So it's a huge fucking deal. But people don't realize that because it's not new shiny.
It didn't give them higher FPS. It's not a new mission. It's not a big fucking fuck off battleship. It's something that you don't see that affects the game in a radical way. But I need a t-shirt cannon that fires helmets to save people running out into space without a helmet, but nearly kills them with the helmet, just so they have actions, so they know their actions have consequences. I suspect any mesh will being a wipe. I don't think we're going to see it. I could see a captain of a Polaris having an officer sword. It would be awesome. Yeah. Crash recovery is entirely because of the work on Entity Graft. Yeah. I got an entire hornblower thing in my head now. Yeah, I actually think that more than likely, if we're going to see another wipe, it will be with dynamic server meshing, with dynamic economy, with the Qantas system fully being implemented. Because at that point, we're dealing with brand new systems, brand new kind of mission givers, new mission paths, brand new reputation entities that have to be added. That would have more dynamic effects and like supply and demand chains, which would be very different. So the other one I noticed from the mole front VTOL thrusters are burning the side of the ship. They need to turn those things around like the Prospector. Oh, I don't know. They just added it to the roadmap. So the Ranger is now officially being worked on. But it's not coming out until March of next year at the earliest. I'm cool with it. I like the new inventory so much I didn't mind the last wipe. Yeah, I mean, the inventory system is not perfect, but I'm just hoping they stick with it. Just so we can continue moving forward. So we're on the road to the Ranger, right? It's a dash to the finish. Who's going to win, Pyro or the Road Ranger? Unless they drop like the hover quad. Yeah, it could be. Question, whatever happened to inspecting helmets? I don't know. That's a good question. I have no clue, because they used to have, they also talked about having the ability to clip a helmet on your waist. That's gone too. I don't know. I see your point, but the previous inventory system was weird and it made things too easy. Yeah. Yeah, and the Apollo was also added, and the Apollo is coming in probably. Now, I noticed that the Ranger has more time for sprint than the Apollo does, and I think that has to do with the fact that effectively the Apollo's gameplay isn't really that difficult. The hard part about the Apollo is the modular nature of the Apollo, where you can reassemble it to be a 6 tier 3 beds, 4 tier 2 beds, 2 tier 1 beds, 1 tier 1 bed, 3 tier 3 beds, 1 tier 2 bed, 3 tier 3 beds, or 2 tier 2 beds, 3 tier 3 beds, various different iterations and permutations. I think that's probably the hardest part. I got an image of a group of us riding Rangers with power swords and like space wolves. Yeah. I heard the helmet was to be tucked under your arm. That might be the case. I know that they said at one point they was going to clip it to your belt. Have they ever mentioned having visors on helmets so I can eat without taking my helmet off, thus stopping myself from asphyxiating next time I take a sip of a ship for a spin? No, I don't think they've talked about anything about that. People are really excited about Pyro, like they're completely explored and every square inch of Stanton, which they haven't. But the reality is that Pyro represents progress, because Pyro represents not just Pyro, not just a new system, but it represents server meshing, which represents more players. Represents a larger play space, a completely new area to explore and experience. It represents moving forward of Star Citizen. And I stand on this record. I think they're going to release Pyro and Nyx at the same time. Not because they're planning on it, but I think by the time they have server meshing ready to release, Nyx will be done. Because again, the issue is not them making systems. It's them having the back end functional. What bar have I seen in the game that you like the most? Mine's the one in Levski. Oh yeah, Cafe Mocine's great. It's actually a really good bar setup for being an actual bar. I like Wally's, but the Wally's bar sucks ass. Anyone who's been in a circular bar like that knows how hard it is to serve that bar. Not a lot of storage space back there. It's very cramped. It's very difficult, and it's claustrophobic if people come up to you. Space Wolves was definitely cup checked one of those monsters on Microtech. Yeah. Did you see Nick's timeline though? It looked like it needed less time than Pyro in the tracker. Well, that's pretty obvious, Spader Elite. Here's the thing about Nick's. Here's the thing about landing zones, or about gave it away. Here's the thing about star systems in Star Citizen. Making star systems is easy. The hardest part about it is the landing zone. And we already have the landing zone for Nyx. It's Levski and Delamar. They're done. I mean, they're adding new things to it, but it's done. So really all they need to do with Nyx is make the planets and the asteroid belt and a star. Obviously, they're going to add more than that. They'll probably add some outposts on some of the planets and some of the moons. Probably add a few space stations throughout Nyx. But it's actually less populated than Pyro is in terms of activity. So, you don't think they'll do them a patch apart so they can have an easier time testing? That's the thing, is that CIG tends to be more focused on making on when given the option, CIG tends to prefer hitting it with a sledgehammer than hitting it with a scalpel when it comes to testing things. CIG is much more open about just saying, yeah, fuck it, than they are to like delicately unpack very small things and work their way out. Because they also want to show off cool things and get people excited and that kind of thing. But Star Citizen has occasional issues when you look at stars or bright objects. Is CIG working on auto or manually polarizing visors or windshields and ships? Last I heard, the issue with polarization, polarized glass and stuff like that has to do with a bug with the shaders in the glass. And if I remember correctly, they weren't going to deal with it necessarily until they were more along the lines of like the Gen 12 renderer and or ships. Because I remember at one point they said like they actually fixed it. They went in and fixed the glare issues on the glass, and it worked for a while. Then it came back. So what's Nyx? Nyx is the next system after Pyro, and it's spelled NYX. It's another pirate system, but it's not a pirate system. It's more of an outlaw rebel system run by a group calling themselves the People's Alliance of Levski, which is in an old abandoned mining base in an asteroid called Delamar, and they named their new settlement as Levski after a famous revolutionary from Serbia, Latvia. I think it was the Balkans. I can't remember where, but Levski is a pretty famous individual, pretty famous revolutionary. Bulgaria, thank you. Yeah, Ryan, do you remember back when Levski was in the game, like 3 years ago? When Levski and Delamar were in the game. That's the landing zone for Nyx. That's why it was removed. It was removed from Stanton because it was going to be moved to Nyx. Not to be confused with the popular People's Alliance of Levski. Did I say it is People's Alliance of Levski? Did I say something else? There's more than another. There are tons more star systems planned. There are, yes, there are over 100 systems planned. But that's the next one. And there's another one that's already being in development, pre-production right now, which my theory is it's Castra, but we'll see. Levski had the Cafe Mocene was pretty good. I still think Old 38 is probably my favorite bar because it's kind of partly grungy, but nice and homey. The Levski buggy races. All right, I'll be right back. What's your money for another system after next? I said Castra. I'll be right back. Quick bio break. About 5 more minutes where we're gonna run this giveaway, and then we're gonna close it off here shortly. So if you want to get in to win a hover quad courtesy of Renovate, exclamation point raffle space, however many beers you want to put in there, and I'll put you some more beers here. But you got to be on Twitch because I don't have the bot set up for Twitch for YouTube. I'm playing this clip again.
Oh, Chris Roberts is actually a raptor who came from space to eat my children.
Thank you. My community is weird, and I love you. The bot, she struggles. It's 1 beer per entry, yes. Yeah, I don't have the bot set up for YouTube raffles yet. I have to find a bot that does both. Yeah, my theory is we'll have Nyx, we'll have Pyro, Nyx, Castra, Magnus, then what's it called? Tohill. And lastly, Terra. The Tohill one is a little bit off, but I think Terra will be in when Bader hits. When they hit Bader. Terra Bader. When Beta hits. Which could be a while. It's the origin story of Grimaldus. Pyronyx are really going to make players plan on where they're going. Yes. Yeah, I mean, the game is becoming more and more planning simulator the further we go. So, here I'll go. 10 more beers. Give you a couple more minutes to get that in there, though. Ultra Magnus? Yes, Ultra Magnus. It will be interesting though, because I imagine they'll do Xenothreat in the future as well. When they do Xenothreat, after multiple systems have come in, I imagine it'll have something to do with what you do in Pyro. So if you're in like Magnus and you hear that Xenothreat's going on, you may have to travel from Magnus to Stanton to back up people, which would be kind of cool. How do you get beers? You're new here? Just hang out and watch the stream. I just gave away 10 beers to everyone who was hanging out here, Neil. So it's a viewer reward thing. So the longer you watch, the more beers you get, that kind of thing. Twinkle thumbs. More beers after that. Luckless burrito. More beers for y'all. We are close to Bader. Yes, we are close to Bader. Avenge me, brother! Ah! Yes, Ash. Oh, God. I love thee. I think I missed my the first message. Have you seen Hell's Reach? It's the origin story of Grimaldus from the Black Templars done as a fan animation. I have seen it. I've seen parts of it. I thought you were saying that the space raptors eating your children was the origin story of Grimaldus. I'm like, that probably sounds right. It's Warhammer. NFTs don't have anything on Star Citizenships? Of course not. Star Citizenships you can actually use. I can pew-pew with my JPEG eventually. That ape is never going to be anything but a JPEG. Question, what are pub coins for? So pub coins are for asking questions on the captain's table. They're also for redeeming audio cues, which I don't think I have set up yet. It's been a while since I've had it set up everything with OBS, so I haven't moved everything over. But usually during regular streams, I have basically things like audio cues, like Delta Loda from The Expanse. I have Good News, everyone, from Futurama. I have those sort of things hooked up to sound cues that you can pay for. And you can also buy beers with PubCoin, so then I can just distribute more of that kind of stuff. I has returned with chicken spices, chilies, super nagas, scotch bonnet, bell pepper, onion, cheese, sour cream, all wrapped in warm fajita. That sounds good, Bobby. I'm surprised that you can buy paint jobs outside of Cousin Crow's. Seems like a great opportunity to give players a reason to go to Orison. I mean, eventually they're going to move that way. I just don't think they've done it quite yet. Guns and Glue, thanks so much for that 32 months, my man. Oh, look, all those beers. Yeah, I don't have the drugs or anything on that kind, or the Zoidberg stuff set up yet now. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you, Guns and Glue, for that 32 months. Beer time. A lot more beers. Beers everywhere. Poor bot. Hard to watch live when your schedule switches to working nights. Almost all my watching is YouTube after the fact. Not complaining. Very glad to have your content to help me commutes in and the night shifts. Yeah. Well, work days, weekdays is later because I'm working during the day. So at night's when I have to do it. And then weekends is when I do it earlier just because I have time to. And again, y'all, I'll be early tomorrow, but I'm going to be hanging out with Loken Plays tomorrow. We'll be playing some Nebulous Fleet Command. If you like The Expanse and like The Expanse style ship combat, and you want that, but in an RTS fleet simulator, where you can control multiple ships in a battle on through 3D space. That's what you got. So I'll be playing that starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. Here goes Ricky Bobby with his hands again. Will we ever see Paul in more casual clothing? Exner, you will. Don't give Chris Robertson what it is. I'll just delay Star Citizen. Reminds me of Homeworld. Yeah, it's like if you took Homeworld and turned it into an Expanse game. What was the name of that game again? It's called It's called Nebulous Fleet Command. Nebulous Fleet Command. Yeah, Nebulous Fleet Command. It's just into early access. We're going to be playing that a little early comparatively. So come join us for that one. But then after that, we're going to go play some Star Citizen. So. But I get used to those long flight times. Yeah. Well, it's more of like a like Homeworld. It's more of a like a battle simulator. So like the distances aren't really that long, but there is definitely a longer. Like you'll have to approach your enemy, and you have to. Think of it as kind of like World of Warships, sort of, in the sense that you can start with teams. There are different kind of modes you can do. But you don't necessarily know where your enemy is. You have to kind of find them, either see them or scan for them. And there are like asteroids around you, so you can use the asteroids to cover your signal as you get in close, that sort of thing. I've been oh, excuse me. It's all Paul's tie and fasten tie as a tattoo. Speaking of sound bites, you need that hit your tits and pucker up. It's time to peel the paint. I do need to get that one too, yeah. I've been designing logos to throw on my ships. It's fun drawing on its own reward. What do you think the chances are the CIG will eventually submit such art decal on our ships? High, but probably not until much later after Star Citizen is released. What are your guesses as to how many people are playing Star Citizen post-release? Numbers in the millions like other MMOs? It depends on when it releases, and it depends on what the community and what games are looking for. I think Star Citizen will always have a cult following, and I think Star Citizen will probably live longer than most people think, because it is a type of game that has yet to really exist outside of Star Citizen. It's the closest you're going to get to like Second Life and Star Wars Galaxies and Tarkov and Arma and Squad and Euro Truck Simulator and like so many other games that just kind of combined into one. You just don't really see something like Star Citizen existing because it wouldn't make any money. Like you don't see a game like Star Citizen ever existing at the kind of level it is in the AAA space because it's stupid. It's absolutely dumb. It's not dumb because it doesn't work. It's just not Call of Duty. You know, it's not, you know, God of War. It's not something that you like make a type of game you make and go, I can sell 1 million copies of that and make a profit off of it. It's just not that kind of game. Battlegroup VR is another good VR game for Battle Bridge. Okay. I will make horse in my home when they fix the dummy long flight out of atmosphere for quantum height. Yeah. Looks very V5, Nebulous Fleet Command. It can kind of have a little bit of Babylon 5 into it as well. It'd be cool if they added outpost locations at different depths of Crusader. I think that'd be cool too, yeah. Nebulous Fleet Command on Steam, yes. I'm fine with some flight out, but Orison's flight is too long, yeah. It's Grand Theft Auto in space, and each Grand Theft Auto takes over 10 years to make and only has one planet. It only has one city, usually. It's a massive undertaking. So, like, that's the reason why I think at its core, it's really hard to tell what the population is. I think no matter what, there will always be a hardcore population numbering in the tens of thousands who play Star Citizen. I think at its height, it probably will have millions, but I couldn't tell you if this is a WoW level of release because I don't think it is. But I also don't think it has to be, nor will it really seek to be. If Star Citizen becomes a massive, stupidly good critical success that other games will follow, like WoW happened, like with WoW or with, you know, Call of Duty or whatever, it'll be by accident. Because at its core, there's nothing in Star Citizen that's unique to Star Citizen. Every aspect of Star Citizen has been done in other games. Probably even in many cases, sometimes better. Look at something like Hard Space Shipbreaker. It's going to be a better salvage simulator than anything we'll get in Star Citizen. But even if we get Hard Space Shipbreaker Lite in a game like Star Citizen, that doesn't exist. You don't get a mechanic simulator with fucking Call of Duty and Arma and like Euro Truck Simulator. Those things don't work together. They just don't function. They're just completely different genres. And I think that's why Star Citizen will attract people. The world's first quadruple A game? No, I don't think so. I just don't think it's really like... It's important to remember that games exist to make money. And CIG is no different from any other company. They're there to make money. But CIG is much more willing to spend money to develop the game the way that they want to develop the game than most other companies. Even companies like Riot and CD Projekt Red have, and even Valve, have limits to their patience. Eventually, they have to push something. Star Citizen is in a good and bad place where they don't really have to fully commit to anything until they're done because they make fuck tons of money. Is that a bad thing? It can be. It means that development time is going to take a little bit longer than most games would. But it also means that the stuff they do create is going to be a better quality than it would have been otherwise. Star Citizen is the metaverse. It brings aspects from all sorts of stuff and makes them work together as one. Which is why I think if the metaverse ever actually took off, which is effectively just Second Life, but VR. Personally, I love the World War II plane sims and sci-fi games already out there. No other game for me like Star Citizen. Yeah. Trucks committed to roadmap? Yes. I mean, they don't answer to anyone. They answer to themselves. Every time I hear the community up in arms about something, guaranteed 2 weeks later, CIG's made some fucking insane new funding level. Because we're, no joke, on track for February being the biggest month of funding ever. Biggest month of funding, not ever. Biggest February ever recorded for Star Citizen. Like, as a veteran of Star Wars Galaxies who's been on Second Life for more than 14 years, it's easy to see why I'm in Star Citizen. Yeah, but I mean, Tombs, you can see that. Like, people who've done those sorts of things. Like, when Star Citizen gets any kind of VR support, it will 100% attract everyone from the VR kind of VR chat, like, space. They'll come over. Because this is not... VR chat is so limited in comparison to what Star Citizen can do. Next great gibboning, the forklifts. Yes. Was this the biggest factor for the monthly funding spike this month? The two things. The sale around Valentine's Day that included the quad, but also the Red Festival. They had two kind of minor sales snuggled into one another. But that LTI token's a big one. It's not just LTI tokens, though. It's definitely also the skins and the limited ships and stuff like that. So Navfish is bringing in floating jellyfish. Oh yeah, the the blind oni crabs, possibly. Yeah, that's kind of like the nav mesh. That's the other thing that we didn't talk about. The ISC is that the nav mesh is really important. The DNA stuff is, but the nav mesh is kind of like the future of where the game is going to be going. Looks good so far too.
Who could have predicted that? 5 a.m. here in the UK, and I'm up waiting for the storm Eunice to hit. Good luck, Jock. I'm actually kind of winding down here because it's been 3 hours. Wow, spike of the sale of one of the cheapest vehicles. Kudos. Who could have predicted that? Well, Jad, it's more that in the middle of all of this controversy, CIG is still making incredibly record sales. Like, I'm not saying CIG is untouchable. I'm just saying every time someone's predicted that this time is different, they make fucking gangbusters. Sorry, my voice is kind of dying here. People are in too deep to turn back. I don't really think that's the case. I think the reality is that most people don't give a shit. Because in reality, people who play the game a lot will tell you that the game is 100% improved over the last 2 years. Star Citizen is a completely different game now. And every patch that's added, yeah, there's some bugs, there's some issues. Yeah, maybe development isn't as fast as people want. But there's progress. And it's measurable. And you can see it. From the performance, to bug fixing, to new content, to new areas. Everything is improving. Again, speed might be but people are seeing progress, which is what they want. Quick, release new ship with LTI. That doesn't even work like that, though, Fishbait. Like, we knew before they made any sort of announcement about delays or anything like that. We knew from back in December that they weren't going to release the hover quad until the new year. They just released the hover quad with a February sale. And being in business before and marketing before, it takes more than 2 weeks to write copy, to pass it through legal, to just get it checked, to make sure a website can be built properly, and all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, making sure everything's working properly. That shit doesn't take a day. It doesn't take a week. It takes about a month. Go Ranger, yeah. Yeah. Did Jumptown just drop? Yes, Jumptown is starting tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I think. Imagine that every player is a victim that played thousands of dollars is false and ludicrous. Yeah, that's also the case. It's like, oh, well, someone is too in deep now. It's like, not really, because most of these people we're buying are also new players. Whatever happened to Paul's favorite ship, the Retaliator base. They did a video on it and it fell off the roadmap. Retaliator base? You mean Redeemer? It's not my favorite ship. I remember that Sheep Killer. Way back when you only had the hangar module, you could only look at your ship and then pretend you were flying around. Any Word 1 reputation prizes for Xeno will drop. They said after Xeno, and it's now after. Probably not until probably just before 317, would be my guess. After this free flight. Hey, Nick. They're all 60-hour Jumptown events, yeah. What I heard through the grapevine is that they're really wanting to batter Jumptown to see, because they want to collect a lot of data for this one. Yeah, the 19th. It's currently just turning into the 18th here in the U.S., which means it's the 18th for you all in the EU. There were prizes for Xeno? Yes, if you got a certain reputation level, you got a certain reputation level, you would get armor sets if you didn't already have that. All right, y'all. I'm gonna pull this winner. Good luck to everyone who entered, and the winner is
Randbo. Is it Randbo? Randbo. You still here, Randbo? There we go. Randbo, send me an email. There's my email, theastropub@gmail.com. Tell me what email to send it to. I will pass that along to the person who's hosting this or is offering the giveaway, and they will send it to you ASAP. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. The retaliator, the base deck and stuff like that. Yeah. But even though if you didn't win $50, I'm not going to give you $50. I don't have that kind of money. For 140, you know. 50 beers for everybody of you who are here anyway, so you can replenish them a little bit of that. Yeah, I lost again. Now I sleep. But if you didn't win, that's fine. Exclamation point February. We're still giving away a bunch of stuff. So special items are giving away a bunch of stuff. We're giving away a saber with the auspicious red skin. That's a game package with LTI courtesy of CIG all of this month of February. So exclamation point that. So I'm going to bed. My voice is shot. I will see you all tomorrow bright and early at 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. GMT or UTC for some Nebulous Fleet Command with Senor Loken. And then after that, we'll be doing some Star Citizen stuff. So hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment down below your own comments, and catch us live on twitch.tv/theastropub. And if you're watching this on Twitch, follow us on, or subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/theastropub for content like this, but also other unique content like lore videos and other things like that. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.